Welcome everybody to the two-man power trip, the black man starting the nerd lifestyle. I'm Nicholas, Mr. Go With The Flow.
And I'm the man with the plan, Maurice.
And we're back with another edition of the Blerd By Nature Podcast. We back. Black Anime Podcast number 202. What's up, co-host?
What's good, bro? What's good? Yeah, we back. It's been a little bit, huh?
Yeah, it's definitely been a bit for sure. So let's step into that vibe, guys, and talk. All right. So let's divvy up into just let's talk about this week in general. Since I mean we've been out for a while, but we'll chat on that. But let's hit up on this week note. So how was your weekend setting into this week?
My weekend was okay. I chilled for the most part. I didn't do too much because I was still playing catch up from a prior week.
Yep. Makes sense. It makes sense. The energy be draining and stuff like that. My weekend was chill as well. Was chilling up with Kenya, and Sunday we went food hopping and adventuring and stuff like that. But yeah, we hit some spots and stuff like that. That was good. How was the work week?
Tired. It's been a long week.
Is it the same stuff? Like after all the messes and stuff like that, has it started to pile on you guys now?
Yeah, to a degree, yeah, because you gotta figure out now what's going to be done with this stuff and what's gonna go with this stuff. Now that it's just been a lot.
Not just losing bodies, but like major bodies. So I would expect the rest of y'all that's left is carrying the bulk of this heavy stuff now.
Everything is in flux, right? So it's like trying to figure out what's gonna happen, who's doing what now, what's happening with all the existing things, and now that so much has shifted and all that. I'm tired of meeting means.
Yeah, I would too, especially with this kind of situation. Have you heard from the homies that have gotten let go? What they were saying?
One of them found a new position already.
Oh shit, good lessons.
The other one just still looking. Yeah, so I've kept in touch with most of them already.
Good.
It's like one or two I haven't heard from yet.
Yeah.
But other than that,
that's heavy stuff though. Yeah, I hear you on that. My work week has it's this week in general. This has definitely been a weird kind of situation of a week between the agitated and cranky people in the morning. I think like we had two incidents of like people coming in and yelling about the usual stuff. Why they gotta get the insurance verified, even though we do it every month and people don't show up like once a month to the doctors. So we gotta find out you still have the insurance, but they still a whole bunch of agitated and cranky in the morning. But we had one in like the morning and then one in the afternoon. So it feels like every time some situation happens to us, a lot of people like act like nothing's happened. So that kind of steamrolled into a situation today, which like this kind of happened right before I took my nap for the podcast. But like,
oh, wow,
there was so I left around 4:30. This shit was happening around 6. So apparently I'm hearing that there was a shootout.
What?
So crazy situation that happened just recently. So my mother had just gone to choir practice, and then in the midst of it there was an incident. Like she was driving into like choir practice where the church is at, and there was I guess I don't know if there was like no sirens set off or something like that, but like I got a phone call around like 6:30, and mom had already gotten into the church at the time, but she was kind of calling me in a panic, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? And she was like, there's guns being drawn, and there was like a shoot, because my job is like right next door to my church. So like there was a whole like the police was all there in the situation, and there was like shooting going down. So some shit was going down around that area, and I don't know what the hell happened, but that was like 2 hours after I left.
Wow.
Yeah. So my mom got home fine and stuff like that, because after that they were checking surveillance. Yeah. But I got that call. I was like, the fuck's going on?
Yeah, no shit. I'd have been out the door like, what?
Yeah. So I don't know. That was the hectic situation of today, pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah. This week has felt either funky or agitated, but it's been like back and forth with a whole bunch of shit. It's weird
for real.
Yeah. So, anyways, shifting off that now, we can go into the off the cuff discussion this week. So for the off the cuff discussion, I have a thought that we can discuss this week. So we've we've seen a lot of discussions when it comes to like certain animes and stuff like that. I want to get your opinion on what you think happens between some animes between season 1 and season 2 sometimes. Like when you find a good anime that has like a quality season 1 with a studio and stuff like that, when it comes to around the time they get like greenlit for season 2, it's either like years later or they change studios, or like the story isn't followed up between season 1 to season 2. What's some of your like bigger thoughts when it comes to like what happens between season 1 and season 2 of animes that either become like a dropping point or a picking up point, like more people hop on or a lot of people drop the anime in general? Like, what do you think is some reasons for like drastic changes between some animes that hit like from season 1 to season 2?
You mean like The Promised Neverland?
Yeah, that's definitely a perfect example for it. Like what like some people rush the story and finish everything when they should stretch it out for a while. Some people change studios and the shit looks drastically different and it's not the same anime people fell in love with. Yeah, definitely Promised Neverland is one option. Sure.
So when you go to season 1 and season 2, normally it should just be an evolution or just a continuation.
Yeah.
But sometimes when they do it, they mess up a good thing.
Yeah, shit happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes they take so long that animation has to change with the times. Like some season 1s go from season 1 happened in like an example is like Devil is a Part-Timer. Season 1 came out in 2010 and season 2 came out like 2021.
Yeah, so you got changes in animation, changes and stuff like that.
10 years is a long time, so you imagine the animation has to adjust. And sometimes it's funny because some things would look more crispier at like season 1 that happened like years ago, and then they evolve with the times. You're like, animation is not as slicker exactly.
Yeah, sometimes the animes lose their feel when they switch from season to season. There's some changes that are made in the background that we don't see, like artists maybe switched up, studio changes.
Yep. Or maybe your interest in this anime hit a certain point, and then other people kind of dropped off, and the drop was so heavy that they got to change studios. My thing, what was it? The one of the most egregious ones is like Seven Deadly Sins. When it went from like season 1 to season 2 with like peak animation, season 3 came around, and because of the money they lost on the movie that they dropped in between the time, they had to switch to a very lower budget studio, and then they came out with the season 3 was the season with the most amount of like the major fights, and they ran it to the weakest studio ever. So they got like everybody has screenshots of the most ugliest like animation and shits that has ruined the moment constantly.
And that's the problem when your medium is visual.
Yeah. Especially during the heavy parts of like what people expect from major fights and stuff like that. If it doesn't come close to where like season 1 to season 2 is, you kind of feel cheated. You waited this long for what?
No, exactly, because you're stuck with it, and then the quality went down. Yeah, but you're gonna be disappointed.
Oh no, 100%. I know. What is it? Another example is One Punch Man. Like a lot of people like season 1, and it's like how it looks and everything. Which also on the flip side, not only is changing studios a thing, also changing streaming service as well. Because with the animation that Madhouse came in with season 1 on One Punch Man, and it did follow. It started out like heavy on Netflix, so a lot of people got their kick in One Punch Man. But then season 2 ended up on Hulu, which a lot of people didn't have Hulu at the time, and then the animation changed over to a different studio. So not only did they change different studios, they changed different streaming platforms. So a lot of that interest kind of waned altogether because it looked different. It was on a different site that wasn't like as famous as before, so it just kind of lost out on a lot of interest. And a lot of people still ain't watched season 2.
Yeah, me being one of them.
See, there you go.
Honestly, season 2 was on Hulu.
Yeah. They got exclusive streaming rights for that to be on Hulu specifically. So season 2 already came out for a couple of years now, and that was more of the starting into the major story and the major stuff that followed One Punch Man in general. But it just doesn't look the same. So a lot of people who found it already waned interest on it because the reason they came into One Punch Man season 1 was the crazy animation that would pick up out of nowhere. So that wasn't there, and then it was on Hulu, and then just like the major stuff that everybody was waiting for, it looked fine, but it was just not to the standard people had set before.
It was like, what the heck is this? Half punch?
There you go. 0.5 punch man. Like,
right.
yeah, a hard situation. Or in some cases we could get animation that is just as good from season to season, but the problem is people still miss the old studio, so people are still hesitant to walk into it. Like, for instance, the big one is Attack on Titan, which had 3 seasons under Wit Studio, and then the final season it goes to Mappa, which, I mean, it's a good candidate and it shows a lot of change in effort and stuff like that, but the initial jump into, and the way how they did it was perfect, kind of within the storyline and the time jump, and people got older and stuff like that, but it was just like the drastic change that people was fighting in the initial start to it until they got like that first Eren being a menace vibe.
Yeah, like I said, you'll have some changes that will be positive, like the one from Mappa. Like I said, you're not gonna be able to please everybody, of course, but in terms of that, as long as it doesn't reduce the quality,
as long as it doesn't feel like less than, as long as people can keep it up and stuff like that, that's kind of like, there's so many factors. That's why I say it's a huge difference when it comes to like the difference between an anime like season 1 or season 2 or just seasonal in general. Things happen, like when budget flatlines, it like takes an anime a whole heap of stuff, or how hard it is for anime to even get a season 2. Like more lately now, we're getting like animes that get double chances or reboots happen or stuff, and it's just so many situations where it's like either this anime gets left in the dark or this anime will get a season 2 like 10 years down the line where animation is completely different, or they have more opportunities with streaming services that they want more content. So this anime finally gets greenlit again and stuff like that. I mean, there's always that talk of, and I saw it come up this week with Dead Man Wonderland. A lot of people are still upset how that ended with it. They only covered like 12 episodes of that, and then they have extreme room for season 2 because the manga's completely finished. So the story's there for them to continue further, but if they ever came back, animation gonna be different. Animation ain't the same from, once again, 2010.
Yeah, if you have a big jump up decade, then of course the animation is going to be different.
So,
all you got to do really is look at One Piece.
Yeah. One Piece is, what was it? I think Best put it from Black Ramen Podcast in a recent episode. They were talking about how One Piece is the perfect generational anime when it comes to showing you an animation spike when it comes from classic all the way to coming up to where we're at today, which is like what One Piece is given on a weekly basis is showing that Toei Animation, when they're behind an Empire and a Machine, they can give you movie quality shit like week in, week out, which makes me very confused to what they put out for Dragon Ball Super all those years ago when the animation wasn't like tight to the point, because you knew Toei Animation always had the money and the budget. I just always came with the excuse where they couldn't do like movie style animation week in, week out, and then One Piece came in with their last couple seasons, and they've been just doing movie quality week in, week out that just steps into more peak. Like, they have movie quality as the basis, and then they keep jumping like week in, week out, and I'm like, oh, so y'all had the money. Y'all was just playing on Dragon Ball's name at the time, which is funny because you think they put money into Dragon Ball.
Businesses are whispered.
Yeah, so it's weird, man.
So
you think they put the money into the stuff that they would champion and they would commercialize. Like, you fuck up on Dragon Ball seems weird. That is your cash cow.
So I guess it depends on how they felt about Super. Maybe they felt Super was a risk.
Yeah, I mean, this is their first time jumping in after 18 years, but then at the same time, they tested the waters with a movie beforehand, and then they decided how'd
that movie do?
Movie did great because it was a return of Dragon Ball. The movie did excellent because it was making box office numbers and making whole shit in both the West and Japan. So it was doing a lot of money, and Dragon Ball was already doing a lot of money. All they had to do was say Dragon Ball new content. Obviously, people was flocking to shit. So when they dropped the Super anime, and then the thing about it is, okay, I get the beginning of Super that you was just recapping the movie, so y'all wanted to be as lazy as possible. I get that animation dropped, even though it's an iconic bad drop. Like, everybody talks about like every being ugly as shit, but like after you get through that, you got the first season that they're working on with new content altogether, and the animation animation still didn't really pick up past that. And you're like, all right, so they're just blatant. They're just not gonna do much. Like the animation didn't spike up until probably Tournament of Power.
Okay.
Yeah, because they kept their ear to the ground towards like the regular smashy in and out, good quality to bad quality anime. Even going through like the Goku Black arc and all that stuff like that. That was smashy. It wasn't until like they literally showed us a trailer. They was like, all right, the Tournament of Power, we're actually picking up the quality, and then stuff started to look different after that. And then after that, we just been getting.
Okay, so they want us to buy in time. Okay.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's what they once they showed off this One Piece stuff, and I was like, all right, Wano, the look of Wano is only for like an episode. And then you just constantly saw this, and you're like, no, this is literally the quality they say for the movie. Why the hell are they here week in and week out? And they just continue with that. And then there's some episodes that just spike it even further, and you're like, oh, all right, so y'all got all the money in the budget for sure for something.
It was like, all right, we gonna see tiptoe around this one and see how it go.
100%. They was banking. They said the Dragon Ball name is good enough. We will serve y'all shit, and y'all will come.
True, they got you already, so they was like, yeah,
pretty much. That's why you can have an anime like Dragon Ball return to form after almost 20 years. If it wasn't for that, well, keep in mind, I'm gonna talk about this later, but the Dragon Ball has been on the back of video games for years, and they kept us going. That's how you know Dragon Ball was still in the zeitgeist, yo. Them video games held people over for years.
True, they did.
So yeah, that closes the book on off-cuff discussion, and we can go into some nerd and reboot news that I got. And right off what I was saying before, we just got the announcement a couple weeks ago that we got like a little teaser trailer of it, but they're dropping Budokai Tenkaichi 4, and RIP to all them new controllers out there, because it's gonna be a rocky time whenever that drops.
Well, the new controllers should be fairly ready at this point.
No, I don't believe that. Absolutely, they gonna be going through the motherfucking ringer. Everybody that's talked about their history with Budokai Tenkaichi or Budokai games in general, everybody remembers if they keep the beam struggle and the situational mini games the same, that people are going through burn marks in their hands again. I don't know, just because the shit fighting in quality and shit like that, not mean people aren't gonna test the ranks of their analog sticks and everything they got out of that shit. Unless they figure like another way how to configure beam strokes out of that shit. I'm pretty sure there's going to be another like increase in controller buying. Sure.
Oh yeah, this is where them pro controllers come in with the replaceable thumbstick.
Well, there you go, because that's gonna be a time. I feel like when they drop it, they should be watching everybody's TikTok videos and every video in general, and that's the perfect time to release the Budokai like protection pack. It'll be such a smart marketing at this point, because they know every video I've seen so far has everybody talking about how they burned their hand and they broken control. This is so easy to market that, like the Budokai edition like pro pack to protect the shit and to push further on beam stroke. That is such a selling, so easy.
I'm sure somebody's gonna capitalize on that.
Hell yeah, if they're smart and they're looking out, because I mean all they did was drop an ideal teaser where they showed classic videos of the Tenkaichi series, and then their character roster has always been like phenomenally big and stuff like that. I think it's like the biggest anime video game roster ever with over like 100 characters. But yeah, they got all that. So I'm pretty sure if they're watching real well, they're taking all the notes and everything they can for ideal and just making it better as much as they can, or combo packs or all this other shit. Because I could already see, like, with the amount of characters that they had in Budokai Tenkaichi 3, if they want to follow up with that, man, with the gaming industry nowadays, I can see the Dragon Ball pack, the Dragon Ball Z pack, the Dragon Ball Super movie pack. I can see the Dragon Ball movie character pack. Like, them DLCs going flying. They are definitely going to make sure they milk every money worth out of a person.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
And the online measure, because the last time people was talking about how Budokai Tenkaichi 3, when that shit dropped, it was in the PS2 era. So for them to jump and spike all the way into PS5 and shit like that with so much changes and stuff like that, online mode gonna be crazy, this gonna be crazy, so much shit about to be crazy. Hell, the last time Budokai Tenkaichi had featured in the online mode was on the Nintendo Wii.
Ooh, that's
exactly. So it's been some time. So with this legendary game dropping, I know everybody's hyped. everybody's reliving childhood in their head and stuff like that. This is a perfect time for this shit to drop because anime games have been struggling in general, and it's always easy to go back to a Budokai game. And Dragon Ball Z has been putting out some other stuff in general, or has been raising the stock of DLC for like forever. So for them to be working on this in the background was kind of like the penultimate idea, especially the fact that they just dropped it with no prep or nothing, no leak or nothing. Like everybody, like we were seconds away from our trip, and I got the message. And when I got the message from Elijah, I was like, "Fuck, what you mean?" And then I had to go all over on Twitter, and people was losing their fucking mind. So I mean, this was just literally out of nowhere. So Dragon Ball Z has that kind of power to just drop something and then just be like, yeah, it's coming, and then people lose their mind.
True.
And so whatever comes out of that, I guess we'll be figuring out, because they there's no release date or nothing on that, so they still working or they still gathering what the hell they got to do. So whenever another news just randomly drops out of nowhere, they'll find out more.
No, that makes sense though.
Yep.
We'll have to see how that goes.
Yep, definitely. So next on the docket we got have you been hearing the discourse when it comes to the current stuff that's happening with Boruto, and also it's like one part big spike in interest on the manga, and then also the anime going on a hiatus to get ready for part 2.
Yeah, I've heard rumblings about that.
Yeah, so in Boruto, Kishimoto has finally been back at the pen, and he's wrote something that game changed everything. This puts Boruto back on like Naruto grand scheme level. Like he wrote a plot twist so good that it has brought people back to the fandom in droves. So this is a perfect time for anime in general, who's been on like a filler run for years, and they finally realize it's finally time to take a hiatus to get ready for like part 2 and stuff like that. And they took a filler path so long that now that they've like returned back to the anime, they're getting fucking close to the manga already. So I think this week is supposed to be the last episode before they take a break for whenever they want to come back from the hiatus, or whatever they want to do with like part 2 of Boruto, whichever. But it's just the fact that they're doing that, and then the manga's finally hit its peak stride. I don't even know, like after a plot twist that happened in the recent chapter happened so good, I don't know if they're about to do a break, or it looks like they might be hinting towards the time skip that people saw at the beginning of Boruto, or just so much is happening. So Kishimoto has finally put everything in full circle, and he's done it in such a perfect way. Like before him, somebody else was taking the ranks in the pen of Boruto, but when Kishimoto decided to come back and really put his effort in, he has showed why Naruto was peak, and he dropped some peak chapters that will bring people back to Boruto pretty much in general.
Okay, that's good. That is good.
I mean, it's been needed. That fan been drying out the well for the longest time. People crying out for everything that's been happening in the anime. And once again, I mean, that's what we're talking about with Studio Pierrot, that has done great animation before, but they have been lackluster in Boruto. Like we talking about Sasuke specials dropping the ball with Sasuke versus these dinosaurs looking like trash, double arm animation, and just a whole bunch of messes and stuff like that. So them taking this hiatus is well needed for various reasons. Maybe a change in quality in the anime when they come back and stuff like that. But it's just like they definitely break.
Yeah, get that Boruto some respect. Damn.
Yeah, it's by time, and it's good to see Naruto finally coming back into like forefront just in general. Especially the I think because they announced that eventually, I think sometime this year, we're getting like 4 additional Naruto like Shippuden episodes or something like that. I don't know if that means they're supposed to be like higher in quality or something like that, but they just randomly announced that there's gonna be like 4 new Naruto.
Yeah, that was just random.
Yeah, I don't know what they're supposed to be following. I don't know if it's a random thing or what's going on, but them announcing that was strange.
It's probably filler,
or just well animated something else or something. Because remember, they dropped that AMV special that everybody was talking about because the animation quality was like spiked up for all the classic moments and shit like that. So I don't know if it's something like that, or because I think like Mr. B said he wanted to put a budget towards it to continue if shit happened. I don't know if they took the offer or some shit like that. I don't know, man. I guess when we'll hear more about it, we'll see what they have planned for it.
Yep.
So next news is we got the announcement that the Anime NYC tickets are going on sale in April, and everybody's talking about how them prices looking crazy.
Yeah, them prices are looking crazy.
Them prices looking fucking crazy, man. Them shits. They got the audacity in recession and all this shit. They're the only cons that I know that are like flying up. Like DreamCon ain't wilding this much, and DreamCon popping. Comic-Con has calmed down. Like Anime NYC is stepping, and they ain't even announced nothing. They got the audacity. They don't even got like no major shit coming up. They ain't got nothing signed. They just dropped the ticket, said, "Oh, we know you're coming." Like, goddamn, the 3 days they said, which is $130 in general with taxes and mailing fees and all that shit, it's $160. They are wild.
Yeah, they could go on with that. Listen, it was a shit show last year.
Yeah,
and if you think people gonna sit there and pay all that to go deal with that again, nah, bro. And
that's so fucking crazy, man. We really like we dead remember the era of it being chill. Barely anybody did. Like, I'm starting to miss the old days when they didn't even have the whole building no more. Bring me back to the old empty ass lot and shit like that, where you could just walk around and shit was having a good time. Now that these niggas over to Comic-Con, they've lost their Comic-Con goddamn mind.
Oh, for real. I looked at those prices and I was like, oh, nah.
Everybody in unison said that shit wild, and people was all over Twitter saying that shit was meh. And you telling me y'all going up like this? Y'all wildin'. And y'all know the reason it was popular was because of the black folk. If y'all trying to drive the black folk out, y'all wild. Some people have already said it that they should be a bias seats for the niggas who live here. Like,
exactly. I agree with
cut
that.
us some slack. It's Anime NYC. Have the NYC come through, nigga. What y'all doing? And then they got the con during the brick time and shit like that. Y'all niggas want us to pay heavy price and be out in the cold and shit like that. Y'all wow.
Y'all wow. Listen, man, it be brick.
It brick every year now, so it's guaranteed brick.
And you want us to pay more money to be out there in the cold because y'all know how to manage these lines?
Yeah.
No, we not doing
y'all
it.
Still don't know how to manage these lines to perfection. So I don't know, man. Y'all lost y'all dig dong mind. Y'all crazy.
I was freezing my ass off last year. No,
y'all crazy. Oh my god. We gonna have to regroup and talk about this shit in general, because I don't know if we end up finally hitting up these other cons, then it's gonna change a lot of aspects on how we see like regular cons over here for sure.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, this because these them dropping this with no announcement of whatever's going on over there is so wild. Like this, like it really has changed in the last 2 years. Because I remember the last 2 years they used to, not only did they have tickets available like a whole year round and stuff like that, but they made announcements early on of what the hell they had going on. This time they're being disrespectful with dropping these prices and don't know what the fuck is going down. They don't got no special guests, no major signings, no nothing like one-hand and shit like that. They just like, y'all coming for the event. I'm like, all right, so you WWE now. You paying for the brand.
That's where it looks like we're at right now, because I'm like, at that point, what am I paying for? Because
nigga, they kicked out Ron J, who had a table there for 2 years. They're definitely getting spicy with their choices.
Yeah, they really feeling themselves right now, and I ain't feeling that.
Yeah, they saw everybody getting popping with them TikTok dances and shit like that, and they started getting influencers. That's what it was. They were starting to get like major influencers to show up at the Anime NYC, and they saw majorly that they was popping and shit like that, and they was like, haha, see what it is we go up these prices so y'all could come in. And they definitely having a exclusive kind of feel to it, because tickets now fly out and they sell out like ASAP now, and they know they got the juice like that.
Yeah, like,
we'll get back to that though. That's wild. But anyways, next on the docket we got did you hear that Good Burger 2 was announced for Paramount Plus?
Yes, I did.
Yep. So they made the announcement on the I think the Jimmy Fallon show. So they had the big interview, and they said before they went on that they had some secrets coming up, and they finally announced that the Good Burger 2 movie is finally dropping, and it's dropping exclusively on Paramount Plus. So that goes right into kind of like, it's funny, it follows up with also anime thoughts. When we talk about like season 1 and season 2, we talk about like sequels and reboots as well, because like this has been something that I know specifically Cal's been working on for like years, that he wanted like the big script to work on like Good Burger 2 for years now and stuff like that. So I mean, I hope everything comes together well, and Paramount Plus gives them exactly what they need to go forward and whatnot, be themselves, and streaming platforms lets more freedom come along to people, and they don't have to confine to like more network censorship and stuff like that. So I like whatever they come in with in Good Burger 2, probably gonna be black as fuck, even more black as fuck. So hopefully Good Burger 2 all turns around in a good way and stuff like that. Hope they have like a good script and everything working out, because I know Cal been trying to work this out for years, and Keenan definitely been on the ride and when he's away from like SNL and shit like that. I know he's been working on it too.
Yep, it's good to see. It's good to see, man.
Yeah, we gotta hope in good and it's hopefully as good as the first one or gets replay value or stuff like that. Hopefully everybody's on the up and up with that. I have good hopes with this. It's been a long time coming, and every time Kel plays Ed, he's always in that super mode and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure it should come out. Also next, by the time we're recording this on March 23rd, so by like tomorrow they are having the final episode of Pokemon, like the Ash Adventures. So he's having his final adventure episode for they put Ash in that anime Pokemon Vault forever. So we'll be seeing the last bit of Ash's adventure. So that's finally finished up. So that's so tomorrow definitely will be an end of an era situation there.
Yeah, it's a good run for Ash. It's like
a long ass run for Ash and stuff like that. And these final adventures have been he's been back with some of his favorite pals over the years and had like different adventures here and there. So I have no total idea on how it's gonna finish and stuff like that. But hopefully they put everything in the kitchen sink in that to say goodbye. And definitely an end of an era for somebody who's been in the game for like the longest time. I think probably the last person left of a generation is probably going to be Luffy, because I mean they're finishing up Bleach within these next 2 years, and I know One Piece ain't gonna be done in the next 2 years. So I think Luffy gonna be the only one of the era probably still walking.
True.
Yeah. So there's that. I just want to send RIPs to the Black community got hit heavy last week. We lost Lance Riddick, who's famous in like a whole bunch of different roles. I mean, we planning on seeing John Wick next week. So shout outs to Lance Riddick and all the stuff he did from like The Wire and OZ, and just having the famous voice and the look of a stern boss and just being cool and all this stuff. And just like the day before he died, he like was playing video games. I think he was on Destiny because he's like a voice actor or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was just playing with his dogs and stuff like that. And it was just a shock death that happened like a day later at the age of 60, which is young. And looking at him, he was young and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's like a Chadwick Boseman situation where he was like hiding a sickness or something like that. Because they were saying he died of natural causes, and I don't believe that, because he was perfectly fine like a day before. So I feel like he was hiding something in general that probably come out later or something like that. But it was
definitely possible.
It was just sad, man. Sad to see the passing of, especially when John Wick 4 just came out. Like it came out. So and then I think he was already signed for the because they're planning on doing like a prequel series of like John Wick's like coming up like that. But that was just a sad. So that's just an add-on to it. So it's between that, and then we also lost the legendary Bobby Caldwell, who the Black community all had adopted into our space. It was a legendary white man with soul that nobody had realized was a white man until like years later, and the video and stuff like that. And there's a video that talks about, there's a reason behind why, like specifically we thought it was a black man, because all of his covers was a silhouette of him. Like nobody in an era of people who didn't have like videos and shit like that, or videos to a level, they definitely had him shrouded because they knew his voice had a certain quality to it. So they worked it in a way for him to like come out to the kind of to the idea of the Black community and have him, hidden and stuff like that. Because he was working with Black people all the same. It was just they knew they couldn't sell him in the same way as like, oh, this white man with soul, pretty stuff like that. And his wife, he even talked about his respect for like the Black community and him being uplifted. He was at Soul Awards and stuff like that. Like he understood his place in the community and his legendary status to like Black homes in there. What he do for love is like is iconic.
Oh yes, it is.
Exactly. So it's like he understood his place. So that's right. So shout outs to those heavy RIPs, especially for the Black community off that. That took a hit. In other news, we also got the announcement that Bel Air season 3 got greenlit. So we still going further with some. Yeah, we going further with some more Bel Air, which I'm always happy about. So I saw that shit and I was super hyped. So big bless to the cast and continuing the story. So more heat coming.
Yep. I literally watched the current episode.
Yeah,
Right
I ain't even get to see it yet because that shit ain't hitting up. That shit ain't out online, and Peacock always acting up. So I gotta wait probably till tomorrow to watch episode 5 and stuff like that. Episode 5 was good.
It was good.
Oh, all right. So that's all I need to know. That shit. I'm enjoying the hell out of this. So it's always good. So it's always a good time. I'm glad to hear team is back on for season 3 and everybody good. So we're also getting. Did you ever watch Ultimate Muscle back in the day when it was on TV?
I watched a couple episodes. I do remember it.
Well, it's going to have just the I don't know if it's the parent series in general or what they're working with, but they're coming back with a new series in general. So that's coming back.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
I mean, with wrestling the way it is and changed, because Ultimate Muscle focused in on like being a parody of like of classic WWF and WCW, a whole bunch of shit mixed in together. So with the landscape of how wrestling has changed over a while, I'm always interested to see what they do with wrestling anime and just the worldwide scope, and like if people are guessing that shit, like surprise guess shit.
So they could add Hollywood Dwayne.
Yeah, they could talk about a box office Boulder showing up and trying to force his way through shit.
Oh, that would be hilarious. I would love it.
Yeah. So on stuff getting a series, after we had just watched Creed 3 and stuff like that, did you see that I guess Michael B. Jordan's gonna be working his way through it, but there's gonna be a Creed anime coming.
I don't know how I feel about that yet.
I'd have to see where they're coming, because they after Creed 3 they've decided on like a Creed verse coming in, because I think there's a Creed series being worked on and there's more Creed movies to come, and then there's Creed anime and stuff like that. So we'll have to see where that goes, just general and stuff. That
Creed 3 was polarized.
I've seen some people on the fence about some different stuff. I know people was complaining about some of the boxing elements to it. I saw where he was going with the idea that was different from the other stuff but that's one thing I wanted to talk about, because I wanted to do like a quick movie review, because we did just see both Creed 3 and Shazam. So what was your personal thoughts on Creed 3 real quick?
Creed 3 was and I like the elements that they did with the boxing.
Yeah, I personally saw what he was doing, and I think that's because I'm on the ideas of an anime fan, and going in he was hyping up anime ideals up, but I see people who are coming in that aren't favorable of anime didn't understand what he was doing with the boxing, and I get the ideas behind it, but he definitely wanted to take Creed and finally, because it didn't have Sylvester Stallone, he was doing his own thing, and he was his directorial debut as well.
Yeah, it's just I felt the story was all over. And so between that and the things that they were doing with the boxing scene, it just, like I said, it threw me off a bit.
No, I get it. The elements, a lot of people was comparing it to Rocky 3 and the Clover Lane story and stuff like that, where he was a man like kind of studying the guy over time and stuff like that. Like I saw some of the stuff that they were doing and stuff. I feel like the elements behind it was like a lot of people in agreement was saying that it was kind of like rushed into storylines and stuff like that. And yeah, I saw him like the guy working it as an ultimate opportunist and working his way through and stuff like that. Overall, I got the gist of why like it was smushed down to as quick as possible and stuff like that. But I feel like if you had more time to stretch it out, or if this was like turned into like more series like and stuff like that, I guess would have gotten like the full scope of stuff like that. Because it was condensed into like the 2.5 hours, this was like they had to pick up the drama and pick up the speed on how a lot of shit was happening. So a lot of shit was moving kind of a bit too fast and too quick story mode, and then shit happened a bit too fast. Like I get some of the side complaints, and then other stuff I'm like, I think two sides of the coins will follow up, because if you're an anime fan, you definitely get where he was going with some of his ideas and shit like that. But if you're not, you're gonna be like, I miss the classic old style of boxing.
Yeah, I think they needed more power via time or via length, because I see what they were trying to do, and I understood the way that they were trying to tell. It just felt a little rushed.
Also, to point out a part that I don't know if went back to watch find it online or something like that, or went back to watch the beginning parts that you wasn't there for, but when this was pointed out to me when because I was listening to Keeping It 9000's recent episode, and I didn't even realize at the time, because I mean I'm not looking around for everything that goes around around in the room in like the first viewing and stuff like that. But they did point out the fact that they went back in time to his childhood, and this is Michael B. Jordan who's doing the directing thing, and he went back to like the year of 2002, and to be like specific on that shit, he had a poster of Naruto 2, which that didn't come out till 2007. So in your directorial debut in an anime that you consider like one of your favorites and an inspiration, which you've definitely used in the midst of all this stuff, kind of got like timelines wrong off that, and that's kind of like opening to stuff like that. And then if you got anime fans watching this shit, you know, a nitpicky ass nigga gonna pick that shit up.
Oh yeah, they definitely got it.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, I don't know, man. These are the subtle mistakes, especially on something specific like that. Like not checking the date and putting the poster up is kind of weird.
It's the little details that.
Yeah, because you could all you had to do was just pick a Naruto poster. Naruto was just like getting his Toonami acclaimed and shit at the time, so that makes sense.
Yep, it's little details like that. That's why I said it needed some TLC.
Yeah, I definitely give it that. So between that and then what's your thoughts on Shazam?
Oh goodness, that was a mess.
That was something else.
Listen, you know it's bad when I'm trying to focus on the movie and the movie puts me to sleep.
100%.
Not because I was tired, but just because I didn't care.
Oh yeah.
Story was all over the place. I wasn't connected with nothing that was going on. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, like I don't.
A few jokes here and there, but I was really like, I'm like,
Shazam was over. Shazam was. I don't know. I think that one's definitely already a polarizing movie because of various different directions like that. And then like the idea of social media and people going back and forth and Zachary Levi just saying yo fuck it and sharing all the reports and getting this bad press because of everything Dwayne was going Hollywood with the shit. It definitely was a movie that felt like Black Adam. It was like surrounded around Black Adam, but they went like with different ideas because Dwayne was a good part of it. There was so many parts that Black Adam could have filled or been the major person here that like it was kind of it was looming over here. And then they was doing a lot of decisions that was like this is silly.
Yeah.
Like it had the friendly element and stuff like that. And going into it, unlike the first movie that was a surprise to me that it was more of a comedy, this one was blatant and more for the family, which was fine and enjoyable and had their parts and stuff like that. But once again, it still didn't have enough time to flesh out all the characters and some jokes wasn't hitting. Some scenes was cool and it was a fun superhero movie in general, but it felt it was feeling already too long and a lot of Tenkaichi, like the joke being the robot chicken episode where they just say the Tenkaichi Budokai is complete and Santa Claus is like, what the fuck you talking about? That's how I felt about this movie. There's a lot of MacGuffins and random shit that was happening and I was like, what the fuck is this? What's the point in this?
It's just I cared about nobody in them. Not at all. I'm just like y'all stupid.
I'm not gonna complain about that at all. That was a mess of things. So I don't know. Shazam 2 was rocky as hell, but like that's why DC trying to start up their own shit. They trying to restart this. They down bad continues, and the next is the mess around the Flash. So it's being held as their most prized.
How is this still a thing?
It's a goddamn mess, and nobody's talked about if Ezra Miller is gone now or not, and that's already a situation in itself that's already like giving me palpitations that people are being this stupid. Like James Gunn can't come in here and be this. You cannot bring back Ezra. The discussions that y'all are having in there that are not cold-blooded saying that this guy gotta go, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. A movie is never worth it. An apology tour is not okay.
The fact that we're still talking about this now is a damn shame.
It is. It's a mess, but it's a mess of their own making that they're gonna have to fix. That's that on that. So the next news that I've seen that they dropping that final JDF movie in the fall, the Legend of the White Dragon. So it got so it was definitely gonna come out, I think probably under a paywall on Bat in the Sun or something like that. But I think now they've pushed it for theatrical release after everything that's happened, JDF and stuff like that. After casting. Yeah, so I'm happy that they got this upgraded event, stuff like that. Have everybody come through and pay their respects and watch that stuff. So hopefully, I mean, all the editing comes together and stuff like that. that. A whole bunch of people was in it. I know they haven't talked about casting in a while, but I know Leo Rush was in it, and his daughter was in it, and some of the old Ranger cast was in it and stuff like that. So I'm excited for whenever that drops, and that's gonna be heavy emotional. And then on the flip side of that heavy emotion, we just got the trailer that I have seen everybody post out and stuff like that, and it's nice to see Power Rangers trending again. And that Once and Always trailer really hit the mark for a lot of people all together, stuff like that. So that reunion special and Netflix giving them a budget, and then them doing so many stuff shot in America with all the scenery and locations and stuff like that, and the storyline that they want to put together in honor of the many years of Power Rangers all come together in one and stuff like that. That first trailer was definitely something. What did you think of the trailer?
I really liked the trailer. It made me a little sad that I won't see Amy Jo or PPP Red.
Yeah, but or I mean, we don't know how they're tackling JDF either, because okay, so there's various questions that I mean obviously can be answered through the whole thing, but like there's Green Ranger, and that's like if they how they get their powers back, the OG powers, they gotta explain Robo Rita and the evil spirit finding its new body, because boy, if there's one thing that Power Rangers have definitely been a trip on in these last 2 years, they have been a trip on Rita and Zed. I have never seen this much Rita and Zed content in my life. They have come back. They've come back new looks. They have changed sides. They have flipped sides. They have reborn. They have showed up with different bodies. They've been heavy influenced in the video games and shit like that. Like Rita and Zed has had more brought back reunions, restylings and shit like that in the last 2 years than Power Rangers has ever seen before.
Listen, here's what I need for them to answer. What happened to those two spacemen that let Rita out of the dumpster on the moon?
Yeah, we did. We definitely talked about it in one of them episodes. And man, if it's a long-standing joke, I don't know. Since they're using the K word around now, so I don't know when's the last time I've heard about a Ranger being killed off or some shit like that. If we talk about that, maybe we could do like an image, maybe a joke image about like two spaceships, two astronauts on the moon, just get skeletons.
Yo, something.
I don't know, man. That has to be somebody's long standing joke or something like that. Like, come on, man, where them niggas go? where them niggas?
They have families or nothing. I'm like, yo, bro.
They cost 30 years ideal pay. Like, guys, it started from y'all. Y'all opened the goddamn dumpster. So, like, guys, where you at?
Right? Y'all need to answer for y'all crimes.
For real. Y'all honestly do. And if y'all dead, well, that's the answer.
Right?
But yeah, I mean, that trailer great, because not only that, David Yost and Walter just getting these praises. I mean, look at the poster, bro. Blue Ranger and Black Ranger being front and center is something that is only like big fans of Black Rangers and Blue Ranger, man, that they would have dreamed of that shit.
I wonder how Steve feel about this.
Steve knew his place. He lucky he got the call, man. They was about to arrest him by false pretenses. Steve, like, I was blue one, so I understand. Right. But yeah, David Yost, like, specifically, after being tortured on that show, like, through his gear, you would, honestly, the way he was treated, you would thought that nigga was never. So him coming back is honestly,
big.
Like, it's big. Not only that, but like, Walter was done dirty. He has never been in a reunion since. That's crazy. Being the first Black Ranger, you don't be coming up in union is insane. This nigga missed out on movie money. This nigga missed out on sequel money. They never brought him back. He was only on one season and then got shifted out because he wanted some more money. That's wild.
Listen, they've been doing Walter dirty from jump. Listen, bro, headline, the fact that he wasn't in the first Power Ranger movie, I could go on and on, bro. They've been doing that man dirty shit.
Listen, man, so there's a lot to go. Hell, we could talk about Aisha coming back, who had a movie, but like a lot of people don't talk about how dirty she was done as well after being like legit replaced, after being sent off. Her storyline was sent off and replaced with another Black girl from Africa. Like, what were y'all doing?
Listen.
What were y'all doing? And then what was funny was I think somebody brought up the fact that like the last time we really saw her, we didn't really see her because when she was replaced, she was already turned into a child. So we lost her way before shit.
Oh yeah. Once that's I started.
Hey, like her getting this opportunity as another person barely gets thrown in there, barely comes up for a reunion. So this feels like a pertinent, like this this got to show off like mad people and shit like that. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be a thing where people gonna miss out on Amy Jo and PPP Red for sure. You know our history with ASJ, so that's going down with that. And then we got to see how they honor JDF. But big news on them honoring Trini in the way they do with like bringing in her storyline daughter and stuff like that. And it looked like Zach got shit running, and they got the comedic elements from Walter just in there and stuff like that. They got I think they brought back some classic villains as well with Robo Minotaur and stuff like that. They got fight scenes in Ernie's juice bar and stuff like that. Like there's so many people to give it shout outs to. We got they even got the crack Zordon tube in the back after Andros got rid of him. Shit like that. Packed his bald head ass out and shit crazy. They got Casper out of there, but they giving representation to Casper too. Like there's a lot to work through. I think I know it's 30 years and we gotta honor everything, but like no. Like obviously the reason why we're calling all these niggas is because you're not doing your job. Say duh. Yeah. But did you see that scene where Alpha was going through the different locations? They were showing off Mariner Bay and Turtle Cove and Astro Mega Ship and everything. So we're gonna see a reunion, like big wild look. If this special somehow, I don't know how, because they have not announced like all these random names is popping up in this special. But like if they somehow retroactively fix that fucked up shit that they did in Super Mega Force, then this Netflix is worth it. This Netflix special is worth it. Because there's people were seeing like Ranger keys in the background and shit like that for like various years and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see what they've been cooking up with this stuff, because various people who've been working on comics and people with like other ideals and fans throughout the centuries and stuff like that have definitely put in their 2 cents, and I've seen some of the people on scripting boards and stuff like that. So hopefully they've worked out what they can do to honor their many years in reunions, and Netflix put the money behind. So I'm hyped to see.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Definitely. And then on that same kick, TMNT has had its bright spots. I just dropped to you the people who are talking about we might be getting a Last Ronin game that's styled in God of War, which is
I'm all for it.
That sounds fire. You telling me homie out here with all the weapons going through the mean streets of the last bit of the Foot Clan in the apocalypse world and shit like that? That sounds perfect. That honestly sounds perfect. That is, TMNT is 2 for 2, because between this and also the movie trailer that had all the voice actors and taking TMNT in a different style, like I tell you, this nigga Seth Rogen, that nigga don't miss. As a director, that nigga picking all the perfect spots.
No fact. See, now he doing this thing.
Doing this thing. The TMNT movie is doing this thing in a very good while. If this Last Ronin game gets popping, I hope they decide to do an animated movie as well on top of that shit. But if they want to do a video game, I'm all here for it. So that's big up. So I'm happy to see Power Rangers and TMNT having a beautiful time right now.
I'm so happy all my shows and games are getting their shine now.
Yeah, and they getting their shine in a good way, not just a money grab way.
Yeah. Well, before we leave up for the Power Rangers, Netflix. I don't know where you gonna fit them, how you gonna do it, but you gotta throw Boca Skull in there somewhere.
Oh hell yeah,
somewhere.
They can't do this and do all of this shit without Boca Skull.
You got it, bro. I don't know if it's a clip or something, but they gotta be in there somewhere.
It's a reunion shit. I cannot sit here and imagine they didn't call at least Bulk, who showed up on constant levels. I know Skull would be down for whatever, but like Bulk has been the backbone. Like legit, what have we watched with Sam? He was literally the backbone. He's done mad Power Ranger stuff since. He's done like a Hyper Force where he's actually arranging mad shit. Like, bruh, he's obviously coming. Like they know they couldn't be around it with no classic comedic relief. Come on, man.
I'm just hoping they do it justice.
They hiding out. I don't know how long this special, but like I know they hiding out on some major stuff that they could. Like I have a lot of questions, but like they can answer it through various stuff, and I'm gonna let them rock. I just want to see it and I'm be hyped. And it's less than a month away, so we got. Hopefully they give all the right stuff. Hopefully it's not like, I hope it's longer than like 30 minutes. I hope it's not like an episode length, because for them to cover like, this is a reunion special not only for like the Mighty Morphin, but they're trying trying to touch base on like mad seasons, y'all gonna need more time than just 30, especially like the money and budget they put after this. It's got to be like at least like I would like it to be like maybe a movie length, if not like an hour and a half.
Yeah, I would like that too.
Yeah, because it's a special. Like you don't think like specials aren't usually like on 30. That seems like a lot of shit that they gonna have to cram a lot of bullshit for it.
Yeah.
Yep. So the last thing I'm gonna touch base on is the Winnie the Pooh movie has hit online finally.
Oh really?
Yes, Blood and Honey has finally dropped online. So over the weekend, I will be partaking in watching that shit, and I will be back to talk about that shit next week for sure.
Maybe I should watch Mean.
I don't know. I keep looking for it online. That shit's not popped up. I don't understand. Once that shit pops up online, I'll watch it and I'll give my same review with that shit as well.
Yeah,
I said I wasn't gonna go to the theaters to watch it, but I'll watch it online.
We can watch it together.
Sure, I have no problem with that. But that Winnie the Pooh one, Blood and Honey, I will be back to give my opinions on that shit for sure, because I will be watching that shit with Kenya post haste, and I will be able to tell you if that shit is allowed for a sequel movie, because I heard they already threw that shit out in China. Like that shit was on for like a week in China, and they said no.
Listen, that Bambi one, it could go on the ground with that shall not name.
My son is cooking. I never said it's cooking anything good, but he cooking something. He cooking that Disney horrorverse terribly, but it's cooking something. They all look like Boo Boo the Fool, but yeah, he ain't stopped. He coming with that. He coming with Peter Pan. He coming with a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Before I go, you just reminded me. DreamWorks is petty as fuck. Their new trailer for that movie, for that Kraken movie that they got, DreamWorks is on the neck because they saw what they was doing with Puss in Boots and they want to keep up that same energy. But they got that movie coming out where the villain looks like Ariel from The Little Mermaid, right around where Little Mermaid is about to drop their live action. And DreamWorks, you a petty son bitch, and I love it. I love it. DreamWorks said mermaids are evil and Ariel is a bitch. That's literally what they said in that trailer. Like, Ariel is dead ass a villain who's acting like the person off of Megamind, and she's got everybody in a hypnotic way. And then she calls the Kraken girl who's hiding to be a normal girl. She's calling her out, and then she be, like in the trailer they showing so much shit. She becoming a big kaiju with Triton's blade, and she's trying to blow up the planet and shit like that. I was like, you petty bitch. And she got the red hair and everything. Like, it's legit Ariel. I'm like, DreamWorks, you petty bitches. I love it.
Wow, what in the Don Cheadle Captain Planet is going on there?
I love it. I'm gonna see that shit straight up. That shit is beautiful. The pettiness. DreamWorks is a company born out of spite for Disney, and they will continue. Especially Little Mermaid. They keep coming for Little Mermaid constantly. I will always remember that scene in Shrek where Shrek and Fiona was chilling by the ocean, and the ocean hit them while they was making out, and Fiona got replaced with Ariel from the Little Mermaid. You just couldn't see her face, and then Fiona like chucked her all the way back to the water. I was like, DreamWorks been on the necks of Disney for like the longest time. The Shrek series is constantly like clowning all the shit of Disney for years. The fairy godmother being evil, Prince Charming being evil. Like, the Shrek series constantly being stopped on that shit. So like them doing this is just, it's up their pity mark. And niggas is coming to go see it. DreamWorks is in their bag, baby.
Let's go. I'm here for the petty.
DreamWorks will constantly do new shit, and then they will see like whatever Disney's doing, and they just be petty about whatever like weak ass reboots shit they do, or the live action weirdness that they do. But yeah, so we had a ton of reboot news and nerd news to come back on, but that's closing up on that. So that finishes up that news, and now it's time for the main event. That's enough talk of reboot and stuff like that. And it's time. It's a special one this week. We're gonna talk about our trip. So the boys was out a couple weeks ago. We had a nice trip, long ways to go. This is flight 007. So we was Blerds on a mission. We Blerds take over London, the London trip recap, so we can get into the meats and potatoes of the boys. Finally, after a long time away, 3 years in exact, we back international. Xavier and Gustav was out here enjoying life, enjoying stuff, and we back at it.
Yeah, we was. We like, listen, stop.
Yep. It was like it's time for us to get back into the weeds of shit, and that's exactly what the fuck we did. So let's go back to talking all the way from jump. Like let's talk about initially really figuring out where the fuck we wanted.
Yeah, it was like, okay, so originally what we were looking at, Japan was an option.
We was looking at, I think we was going through a couple of stuff. We was definitely, Japan was looking like, it was looking like top two between because they had just opened up borders and stuff like that. But we was looking at different possibilities, stuff like that. We was looking at the UK. We was even thinking, there was a time we was thinking about Amsterdam again. There was a couple of stuff that was floating around and a couple of ideas, group trips and a lot of Instagram stuff that they was trying to finagle and work and stuff like that. But we realized, like, best case pricing wise scenario stuff like that, we could work it ourselves. So we got down to the nitty gritty, and then like around November, December, we made the stamping down that we wanted to go to London and started to kind of work based on there. So compared to our Amsterdam trip, this definitely took us more of a long route to getting towards to put a stamp down on what we had to do in general.
Yeah. So this process took us a lot longer than we planned for Amsterdam.
I mean, legit, we was flying through the seat of the seat of our pants all the way to, like, we was trying to figure out while we was in the airport what the hell we was doing for the week.
Yeah, for real.
Putting a stamp down on that shit, and then on top of it, we was still on our spontaneous flow as we was trying to figure out, like, we was putting the puzzle pieces together. We had the full piece of the whole week. We was just filling out what the fuck we was doing for them.
Yeah, right. Shoot, even booking the hotel, we did later than we did last go around.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about, because you was finagling. So shout outs, and we got like 50 shout outs to Expedia, because Expedia helped us to get to a point, but then Expedia was doing some fuck shit at the same time too.
Yes, yeah.
We will definitely talk about. But yeah, so kicking in with flight plans and figuring this shit out, because I mean, a lot of people asked us to talk about ideas with the flight plan. So Expedia helped us to figure that. Shout outs to JetBlue and wherever we and the section we was out, and shout outs to co-host for finagling us some good seats for sure.
Yeah, listen, I'm tall and my knees don't like being cramped on long, so I can only tolerate so many seats. So usually I'll try to look for the exit row for the more leg room, and then, like I said, I try to pick something that gives us a meal, because we're gonna be in this air for a while.
We're gonna be in a while, and boy, did they come through with them meals. I've been on JetBlue a while, and I'm usually in the further back just to be chilling, even if it's like a 6 hour on Cali or something like that. These 7 hours have been, especially the one going there with all the, when we were sleeping on that shit and taking mad naps and waking up to food and snacks and shit like that. Like that chocolate croissant that they pulled up that was warm and nice. That shit was the biggest clutch. I was so clutch between that and then the coming back pretzel, man. I was happy as a motherfucker.
I'm glad you like.
Man, that small 3-course dinner shit, that shit trick. The snacks did the trick. The coming around with the drinks, the random shit, the headphones, which I still got both collections of it. The blankets.
Someone that had
snatch a blanket. Yo, son. Nah, one of the heavy jokes in this shit was when we was on the plane, and they was like, so leave your blankets at the seats before you leave off. And co-host definitely had his blanket secured, ready to leave. And it was funny because I was right behind him. He went off when we was getting there and touched down into London. We was getting off, and the flight attendant who was saying bye to everybody. It wasn't until you passed by it when I heard under her breath, she was like, "Oh, this nigga leaving with a blanket." I was like, I was dead. You didn't hear nothing. You was walking past. We was in the tunnel. I was dying.
Listen, I have my headphones in at that point. I ain't hear nothing. The word they said about nothing about not keeping the blanket. They said all I heard was pack up your stuff and go. So I packed up my stuff and went.
They said pack up the stuff and leave the blanket. I was like, all right, so you're leaving the blanket. So I left my blanket because I didn't want more heavy shit in my suitcase, because I was already reaching the max, and I was trying to avoid paying the overpack baggage at the coming back mode and shit like that. So I didn't bring the blanket coming back, but I was trying to collect like the second time over. But then the lady snatched before I did and double blanketed herself.
Yeah, like I said, I went up out there. I was like, oh, okay. All I heard was pack up your stuff and leave. So I packed up everything and left.
That shit was just random funny moments. It's just random funny moments of that shit that you get highlights out of it. And I enjoyed them random modes of that.
right?
But yeah, shout outs to you figuring out the flight plans and stuff like that, and then working us out to being in the Heather Bank guest house, fixing us out for that hotel as well.
That was a headache in and of
Yes,
itself.
it was, because we was trying to figure out where the fuck we was staying in a location where it was close enough for us to travel around, and then also like the amenities of getting breakfast, and then the Wi-Fi and all this other shit, and finagling all of that.
Picking hotels are always a pain.
Yes.
And I tell you why. Every time I look for like rooms and things like that, the default for whatever reason is a twin bed. Y'all, yeah. I'm 6'2".
Yeah.
I'm not fitting on a twin bed.
Yeah.
My feet gonna be hanging off the bed, literally. So we not doing that. So
didn't we learn this as a general during our Amsterdam trip?
Yeah. So and every time I pick two people, it would be two twin beds, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm like, I need a full bed or what they call a double. So I would have to set it to 4 people for the room, find all the ones that have the double bed, send it back to 2 people to find out the actual cost, and I did this for at least 50 hotels.
Jeez,
before I narrowed it, man. Because then I have to narrow it down. Like, do we have is breakfast an option? Next course, is it built in? Do they have air conditioning? Blah blah. How far are they from everything? So eventually, after all of that, I narrowed it down to 5, and then I narrowed it down to 2.
Yep.
And then wound up going to heaven.
Yep. So shout outs to that. We'll talk about further, but we had those bases, and then we started to gather up our ideas of what we wanted to, like, the excursions to ideally be, and then we kind of put that shit down to like saved or being in kind of like the Tumblr spot that we'll come back to later. And then like it was so funny, we pushed that off to later, and then just time kept rolling, and then this was like this. We set this trip later than we originally did our first trip, because our first trip was before the pandemic. So we had that shit in January. We rocked everything out like that time. But this one, we was trying to set up excursions and stuff like that, like towards to us getting onto the plane. Like we had a big batch of this stuff, but at the time, like times just kept rolling to the point that March was coming up faster than we fucking realized. Like we was up to the week in general coming up, and we was like, oh shit, the trip's coming up like in a week.
Yeah, yo, for real.
That shit started rolling up on us like extra heavy, and then it was so funny because everything seemed calm. There was like no big build up to like the trip was coming up until we realized like the trip was coming up. We was like, oh shit, all right, gotta make maneuvers.
Yeah, yo, for real. Time was just zooming. I'm like, yo, bro. Next thing you know, we was talking about it. It's like December. Next thing you know, it's February. I'm like,
yeah. And then just as funny as that, look at that. We planned this. It took a while. We planned this. We on the trip and we back home already, and it's already been like a time passed since then. Like March has flew.
March definitely has flown. We're pretty much at the end of the month.
Yeah, March flew like a motherfucker. We blinked twice and that shit was gone. Shit. So we was maneuvering that. So all right. So we get to the day of. We traveling over. You got the setup. So your sister was driving you over to the airport. I had just finished all the collect stuff like that with Kenya. So Kenya had just left at the time, and then I was calling my Uber, which Uber had shocked me for that price. Uber had shocked me with the 130 at the time I was going, and I had no fight against that shit because I had to leave at the time.
Oh, I told my sister she was annoyed.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I looked at that price and I was like, I was trying to finagle it. I was trying to wait a couple minutes. None of that shit was moving, and I was like, I know if I waited about an hour or something like that shit. But nah, that it was just I had to leave at that time, and I was like, fuck. All right, I'll bite.
Sis was annoyed. She's like, she would have came and got. She was annoyed. She was annoyed after the fact. He was like, what? I was like,
I mean, at this point, at least now that the journey has, you guys dropped me off for the following comeback. At least y'all totally know where I'm at completely now.
Yeah,
but like,
definitely
geez,
now,
man,
yeah.
that doing that shit was stressing, because not only is it because that was the flat rate when it was going. They adding on the fees to go over the bridge. They add the fees to all that shit. So by the time I got back to that shit, I know that shit was like 160.
Oh,
that shit was Anime NYC 3-day price.
Exactly.
Yeah, them shits had no respect. I was like, it's a Sunday, and I know it was 5 p.m. on a Sunday, but nobody was out there on the road, so I know they was just doing this just to do it.
Yeah,
that price had no reason to be that high.
It didn't. It did not at all.
So I was already feeling the mix on that shit, but getting there and then chilling out
out, waiting for you to come through. And then we got our stuff, finagled everything. I was happy because I had made weight. Usually I'm good at like packing stuff to hit about a point and stuff like that. But once that shit said 49, I was like, oh shit, I missed that shit by a mark. I was done shit. When I weighed that bitch and that bitch said 49, I was like, oh shit, that was way more than I usually shit. I was like, damn shit, I almost packed like Ken. I was like, holy shit, because Ken usually like stuffs her shit. So like by the time that shit hits like a 50, 52, I'm like, ah shit. When my shit said 49, I was like, oh shit, I'm right on the cusp. I was like, I gotta be wary on when I had to repack it, especially with like extra gifts coming back. I was like, yo, when I saw that shit pass by when we was coming back with the extra supplies and extra clothes that I put in there, I was like, oh shit, thank God it made its pounds. I was like, oh, if it mixes it over to 50 and I have to pay another like extra, because once it hits 50, that's like an extra $100 right off the mat.
It is.
No matter how much that shit is. So I'm like, once they took that shit and that green light came on, I was like, oh, thank God. With the extra shit coming back and shit like that, I was like, oh, at least I made the mark on that shit. So I
made it. Whew.
I took that money. That's the money I took, and I bought my Clarks with that shit. Between saving the money on that and you guys taking me back to save the money on the Uber, I took that shit and bought the Clarks instead. So big appreciation. But like, so we're waiting for the flight. We're trying to find food. We're trying to get some tacos and shit like that. We're trying to find any good food that's around to pass the time. And then we get a Tex-Mex, and then we chill at the spot. We're waiting for everybody to call us up and shit like that. And in the midst of that, we figuring what we could do with some excursion. We start to put the pieces together on what we're doing for the week.
Yeah, for real.
Was that the time you got the email about the food tour? Was that we made the plans there, and they emailed you when we got into London?
Yeah, because they sent me the email late Sunday.
Oh, okay. So my question is, did they know about it, and why didn't they take it down?
Exactly.
That's the real thing. If they knew the nigga was on vacation and shit like that, see, that's my problem with Expedia. Don't keep shit up that you don't have like a policy against or like some discretion in shit. Like we're gonna talk about an incident with both that and the walking tour, because shit put your ass through the ringer for no fucking reason. Mm-hmm. But like so we was setting up all the excursion stuff like that, and everything was set to whatever we could do, and we figured out we would, once we touched down, we figured out we was trying to push shit in for the Monday after we touched down, so we'd have stuff to do just like we did on Amsterdam. We said it like later in the afternoon. We noticed that for some reason, and we would understand this later when we touched down in London, but for some reason everything was out of the time. Like nothing was happening later in the afternoon, nothing was happening in the evening of the Monday. So we was wondering what the fuck was going on, because we was trying to set all this shit up for Monday, but nothing was working out. We didn't understand that God was having a block and God was on our side trying to work us out to make us realize, oh, y'all gonna be going through shit on Monday for sure. So that's the reason why you can't finagle shit on Monday. God didn't want us to waste our money for Monday.
Bro, not at all.
So we was putting that shit together. We go on the flight. We have a good time going over there. I decided to take my time to go watch Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick, because I never watched Top Gun in full. So I decided to watch that, and then I watched the new Top Gun Maverick, and I finally understood why everybody was rapping and raving over the summer. That shit is a perfect summer block. That was a great movie with all the callbacks and all the niceness and all the shit and all the rampant stuff. And then watching Top Gun while you on a plane is another level of experience. So that shit was fire. That shit was going through the most stuff. So when we touched down, now we can talk about the fucking weather. We touched down.
Listen,
and boy, when we maneuvered all that shit, and I got my SIM card, and you was helping me to fix up the trap phone and shit like that. Mm-hmm. We take one step out fucking side. I tried to cap. I was like, you know what? It's not that bad. Then I saw the breath coming out of our mouth, and I was like, oh, nah, fuck that. It's cold.
It's bad. It was bad.
It's cold. I was like, oh, shit, I can't cap. It's cold. What the fuck?
That weather was... Ooh. Oh boy.
That weather, no matter how fun it got, boy, that weather was putting us through the four seasons, the many ringers, the fucking shit up. Like, boy, all right, so we can talk about it. So we stepped foot off the airport and we out there in the weather. Okay, so we didn't know how good we had it with Amsterdam. Amsterdam had everything.
We definitely did.
The airport in Amsterdam had everything to like the second you got out, you could change your money and you could have the SIM card for your phone and fix that up. Then they had the cards to travel and you could make the trip and shit like that, and you could fix out everything. And then when you got outside, you could call for your Uber. The Uber was waiting somewhere in the junction. We found where they was. It wasn't going upstairs or downstairs or finagling where the fuck you had to find it. It was a straight line and we didn't have to move all upside, downside, right side. In London, bro, in what was the first airport we got out of? Heathrow. Boy, nigga, y'all had y'all shit all divided upside, right side. I don't know what the fuck y'all was doing in that. But boy, we was trying to maneuver and figure out how the fuck to get Oyster cards. There was people telling us it was downstairs. People were telling us this side, that side. We figured our way around and we eventually went all the way down to the tunnels, hotels, and the byways and the highway. Then we got to we found the nice lady who helped us out to finagle and get our Oyster card, and we told her how long we was in there, and she gave us she helped us out to get the actual right maneuvers, because she said if we was there for like 7 days we would do like the week pass, but she said since y'all here for only ideally like the 5 days and you was leaving out, she gave us the $30 travel, and honestly that ideally we made a couple extra maneuvers where we had to put at least like an additional $10 on it, but honestly the $30 kind of helped, and we did a lot under that $30.
Yeah, no, she definitely made a good call with the $30. Yeah. We had to top up one. I think we did $20. So overall,
which ideally we only kind of put like $10. So we kind of made the maneuvers. Everything ideally like $30 to $40 could serve you for.
Yeah, it lasted us the whole week. Clutch.
And we made like additional stops and all this other shit. Yeah, definitely.
But because of reasons that we will get in.
Oh yeah, 100% on that. 100% on. But like, all right, so, but in the midst of us traveling around and shit like that and trying to get around, let's talk about our first incidents of what feels like racism. Welcome to London. We're black. Let's talk about the white elevator lady that had my co-host fucked up.
Listen,
so we take the floor. Take the floor.
So we get off the plane. We got our bags. We going to meet our Uber because that's what we decided to do. Call the Uber. Yep. And in London, there's the Uber picks you up in a certain spot. So we were downstairs and we were upstairs. We had to go downstairs. This was us maneuvering before we got the Oyster cards, and then we was trying to maneuver around the Uber.
But it was just us trying to go to the fucking spot.
Right? So we get to the elevator. This lady talking about, we know the elevator's going down. The lady talking about the elevator's going up. So we was like, all right, whatever. Ain't got no time for you right now. Really not trying to deal with you. The Uber is coming. We trying to catch the Uber. Make sure the Uber don't leave. So
we literally seeing that elevator going down.
We press the down button, right? We see this lady again.
This lady shows
up. The lady talking about the elevator. I want to drag her out of this elevator. Like, yo, if you don't get off this elevator.
Not only that, she putting her hand up to block niggas from getting inside. I'm like, this space. And she's like, nah, nope, no Negroes here.
I'm like, you gonna have me my first day and let it act the whole fool.
It's cold, miss. Don't test us.
I just got this 7-hour flight. I got these bags. I'm trying to catch this Uber. Do not mess with me. I will chuck you out this elevator.
That ass. She putting up her hand.
I'll grab your head and chuck you out this elevator. Do not mess with me right now.
Has the audacity. We literally see the elevator where it's going, and she like, no, we going up. Move. The fuck. So that's already the person that got us testing that book.
Right, like I said, I'm trying to keep it simple because, like I said, I'm not worried about you. I'm trying to get my Uber so I can get the hell out of this airport.
Oh yeah, and that was a string of itself. We was figuring and maneuvering, looking around that sign. We were like, how the fuck are we getting out? So we finally go ahead.
No, like we finally get to the Uber spot, and the Uber driver he over here. He was like, bruh, what we doing?
Yeah, I was like, which location? We got to be at the spot. We swear to God, the spot has the sign of the Uber, but the niggas on the other side. I was like, what the fuck's going on? So we finally get into the Uber, and this is our first interaction with shit being on the other side. So co-host decides to go on one side. I I go on to the other side, and we in the back, and then this is our first interactions with cars being on the other side and shit like that. So I'm behind on the right hand side and shit like that. Homie there with the wheel and shit like that, and I'm looking out ahead on the left hand side and not seeing the wheel over there. And that shit was already feeling.
Yeah, our first experience with London roads.
London roads and the zigzaggy lines and the patience, because by the time we got into North Finchley, that's when all the patience in the world started to hit, because we was about, I think, probably an hour and some change away from getting into the Heatherbank Hotel and stuff like that. So we was driving out for a while, and then we finally hit that point where we get into these narrow ass roads and people are giving like way, they're giving space, they're pausing, they're waiting for them to come around, and me watching all this shit, I'm like, the fuck? No honking, no nothing. People just having patience and letting people maneuver and shit like that. Seeing these zigzaggy lines, I was like, what? I'm like, what the fuck's going on? What is all this?
Yeah. If we have any listeners in London, I'm gonna need y'all to explain to me what these squiggly lines mean, because they don't make no sense to me. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. This is why I didn't drive. No. I saw this and I was like, between that and the narrow shared roads, I was like, oh no, we're not doing.
I warned beforehand. I said going in, this was a discussion that we was working out, and I knew right off the rip, I was like, I'm not sure about this shit at all, because not only shit flipped on the other side, I knew probably roads was going to feel different, and everything that they had maneuvering and everything that was going on, I knew we was either going to look like the extreme Americans, or some shit was going to look weird, or we was going to get sacked with some kind of weird kind of build that we didn't realize going on. But niggas was just parking everywhere. Niggas was doing the V shape in front of everybody's cars and shit like that. Like, everything was just going, everything was confusing as hell.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't take a rent.
Yep. So we finally pull up in the Heatherbank. The first thing first is we try to get into the building, and the place had all kinds of secret steps, so it tried to fuck us up constantly.
Listen.
All them additional steps that tried to have a nigga fucked up, and it was our running joke for the whole week, because that shit tried to trip us up constantly. It was like different steps, walking up, going down. Like, I was like, bro, is this shit made to like get drunk or fucked up or something?
I don't know. Like I said, all in all, the universe was on our side, and it worked out, because when we first got to the room, which was at the top floor.
Yeah, and boy, I had completely forgot they said no elevator at the time, and then lugging my goddamn suitcase up them 3 flights was a struggle.
It was. Listen, so when we got to the room was nice, but had no power.
Not only that, but the closet was weird, and the setup was off, and then the bathroom was kind of strange, the way how they was setting that up and shit like that. So this is after a long trip, so I'm getting ready to take a shower and shit like that. In the midst of that, we setting up our the stuff that you brought over to change the outlets and shit like that.
The travel adapter, the outlets, blah, all the prepared stuff I bring wherever we travel.
Yeah, but when we get into there, first of all, the room wasn't fitted.
Oh, that's right. That's when we first met Rita.
Girl, Rita was trying to fix it. Shout out to Rita, she a gem. But Rita was trying to. I don't know. I don't think we got there early. So by that time they were still trying to maneuver what the hell they got into the room. So they told us to like give them a few stuff. That's when we decided to take a walk out, and we saw around the time we was taking pictures. Stopped in Greg's, got a snack, went to Nando's. God, I already missed. I missed the pair of chicken.
Yeah, mind you, we got to the hotel around 12 o'clock.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah. I guess ideally around in their time and stuff. So, but yeah, we was making the rounds and taking pictures and stuff like that, going around. And once again, we got our next incident of possible weird, strange racism going down in Greg's, because we got a snack, we sat down, and then we started getting eyeballed by these old white people. And I'm like, okay, I'm dead. My sausage, they just took the sausage rolls out of the oven and shit like that.
Hot, yes, they were.
Yeah, and then we just sitting there. My shit hot as hell, so I'm trying to eat, and I'm looking around, and out of the periphery of my eye, I see the old. And it's like an old white lady and one old Asian lady, and they just staring at us.
I want it. Ooh.
And I'm like, because like,
you want some?
I'm trying to figure out. First of all, we got the money when we was doing the transfer of the money, and the exchange rate was already setting me back, because I was like, oh, well, we gave him that, because I gave him $550, you gave him about $600, and then the exchange rate getting back like $330 was funny as hell. I was like, like, oh shit, okay, that is ideally less than I thought we was get in general, but hey, we'll maneuver what we got.
And what was annoying is that, man, everything was basically clashed. So I was like, what the fuck we doing this for?
So much shit was card. Nigga, they didn't take cash at all. So the times that I tried to use cash, bro, our first day when we didn't like look at what everything was in the conversion rate, I just kept giving people change. And when people it's an awkward moment where you try to figure out pricing and they give you the price of certain things, and then you just keep giving them coins, and you in your head figure you give them these big coins, and you're like, oh, okay, that must handle everything, and then they still got their hand out waiting for more change.
Listen, every time that happened, I was dying.
I was looking for more, and then I was like, all right, fuck it, give me back the change. I'll give you this big bill. I'm like, I kept giving change and more change, and I was like, okay, that must be done. Niggas still got their hand out. I was like, oh, what the fuck? We ain't make $1 yet.
At one point during the week, I sat down with co-host and I was like, bro, okay, let's figure out what coins are. I was like, okay, so this little coin is 20 cents. This big coin is 5.
That shit made no sense. Their big ass coin was like 2 pence, and I was like, nigga, what do you mean? Why is that a 2 cents? And then some places don't even take 2 cents.
Yeah, so we went over this like, oh man, I was like, okay, so this dollar, this hit, okay, this hit pence. I'm like, oh,
let's talk about the holographic money too.
Oh yeah,
what the fuck?
Listen, they definitely ain't trying to get nothing counterfeit. I ain't mad at it.
Yeah, there you go, man. They want their fancy rare RBG money.
yeah. I still got them coins somewhere, man. I'm trying. Listen, exchange people. Y'all need to take these coins. See, every time I come back from Europe, I wind up with more coins that I can't use.
Nigga said they said you gonna snack it up for the next time you go back.
Got something there telling me I ain't got enough to make $1. I'm like, listen, man, y'all take these coins. Give me 50 cents or something.
They said they gonna keep these coins and keep them as a collector. When you come back, you spend whatever 2 cents, 5 cents, or whatever it is. Because next time we coming back, it look like, man. When I tell you so many places was card, I was like, why the fuck did we even switch this money anyways?
Yeah, I was just like, yo, bro, like cash, look,
cash only, cash.
Card only. But
was there like one spot that had like a cash only?
Maybe.
I think there was like one spot maybe that was like actually cash only.
Yeah,
everything else was like fucking cash. We need that card.
Like we don't do cash here. Nope, we don't cash here. Sorry,
like,
we
nigga,
don't do cash here.
What was the point? Never mind. Whatever, y'all.
Yeah, so at that point I was just tap.
Yeah. So many shits was tapped.
Right at this point, I would try to use the cash if I could.
Exactly. It's like you know what? At the same time,
like, you take cash?
Exactly. It was more of a shock. Oh, you actually do take cash? Okay, we'll maneuver that.
Right? I was like, okay,
because I'm pretty sure a lot of places didn't fucking have change neither.
And they start divvying up the change. I'm like,
yeah.
And I gotta look. Don't laugh at me, bro. Y'all money is weird.
We was trying to maneuver the fuck whatever we could. But yeah, shout outs to Nando's. If we making another Washington trip for like Blerd Con or something like that, we definitely get some more Nando's. I'm definitely missing the peri chicken.
Listen, shout out to McDonald's and actually having a snack wrap out
there. Listen, bro, the snack wrap saga. London loves themselves. Yo, I don't want to nothing. London knows how to maneuver their shit. I don't know what the fuck. Okay, so they're medium sizes. I get why they fight back with America on different sizes and shit like that, because America got a medium in America is definitely a large to them because their medium was like a small tiny thing. But goddamn is that you will worth your weight in gold when it comes to ordering fast food out there, because the amount that you're paying over there, even with conversion rates and stuff like that, is still cheaper. And I'm talking about if you get a meal plus extra is cheaper than if you get like a full meal out here, which is crazy. You get a full meal, fries. In retrospect, we got a full meal, fries, a drink, a big ass snack wrap, and a dessert like a donut or something like that. And we get that shit, and it's still cheaper than if we were to get like a regular meal at McDonald's over here, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's weird. The price we paid. Yeah, the price we paid was great.
Yeah, and they love snack wraps out there, and I'm not just talking about McDonald's. KFC had a popping ass snack wrap over there, like it was snack wrap mania. I don't understand understand why America really isn't take cues. Literally, London has exactly what anybody could want. They have snack wraps in different flavors. They have it in they have a big size, and they have deals of the day. You could get snack wrap for cheap. They could give you the big size snack wrap for £2, which obviously they could do over here for like $2. A big ass snack wrap, and it's a deal of the day. And you can get it's whatever flavor they have for that day. That's fucking smart. I love that idea. That's great. So it was that. The first day we got the McDonald's and got all that shit. I got finessed out of my donut.
Oh yes, you did.
Because we didn't check the bag because we was just hungry.
What did they give you?
They gave me a sugar donut, which I thought was the millionaire's donut. I had to re-Google and look at it again. I was like, that's not it. And then I saw what you pulled out, and I was like, okay, this definitely isn't it. They gave me a sugar donut. I was like, oh, she finessed me.
Yeah, mind you, this is what 1 a.m. at this point. Yeah.
This was like right before.
So we wasn't going back. It was closed. It was over.
Nope. And then the time difference, we was like 5 hours ahead and shit like that. So that was right before Monday Night Raw was starting. So that was right before 8 o'clock in the States.
Yeah.
So it was already hitting about the 1 o'clock time difference and stuff like that. And by 1 o'clock, the only thing that's open out there is pretty much McDonald's. So if you want last minute eats, that's basically pretty much gonna get out of McDonald's. Which McDonald's was kind of like a good. We like to go to McDonald's for a basis because international McDonald's will always kick the ass of at-home McDonald's, and they will always have the fire stuff, and we can come back with the info like the snack wraps. I just don't understand why they just don't want to do it.
And their snack wraps about the size of a foot long.
That's what I'm saying. Like that, you can maneuver all of this shit. I don't understand McDonald's American policy of ignoring exactly what niggas want. I don't understand. They act like they're not gonna make a profit.
Right. I mean, we didn't get a chance to check, but I bet you the ice cream machine worked too.
Oh yeah, 100%. If it was so goddamn cold, we would have probably got some ice cream.
Right?
Yo, if it wasn't so cold, we would have went into that place Cream.
Oh yes.
I had the milkshakes and the desserts. That was definitely on the list, but it was cold as shit and stuff. And I was like, I don't feel like drinking a milkshake right now.
So mind you, Monday the room fiasco. So yeah, when we got back to the room, we checked the outlets. Only some of them worked.
So what had happened was we was plugging in the shit, and we didn't figure this out until like after like the third or fourth try. But we was plugging in. I was plugging in my surge protector, and then shit just kept blowing out. Like we got a note when we was going in there that someone I guess it was between Rita or Jackie that was putting in the note that said that they were having electrical issue on that floor. So power was out. We couldn't cut on the TV. Wi-Fi wasn't connecting. Everything was out, and the only thing that could cut on is like the room main light and the bathroom light. So you talked to Jackie downstairs, and then we like in the midst of me, I was literally finished putting out all my shit, and I was ready after a long flight because I know my ass was phone. I was ready to take a shower. The second I was ready to take a shower, good thing you showed up at the time you did. You said we leaving. All right, repack. Got to repack and put everything in. Go downstairs and then unpack all that shit. We still having the same issue with the power, and I was like, I mean, we already had left her back and all this shit. All I know is that all I want to do is take a shower. So what I'm going to do is I'll take a shower while we figure out what the fuck was going on. And in the midst of it, we have our homie Terry.
Yes, this is we got our intro to Terry. Yo, listen, bro.
Shout outs to homie Terry because we had that nigga stressed. I know he was doing his job, but they had to call him constantly. I don't know where he was. He was probably at the pub, or he was at home, or he was chilling. But they kept calling him, and homie had to pull and pulling you constantly just to figure out what the fuck was going on with these guys.
Listen, Terry became the homie at that point.
Terry was definitely the homie. We tried to offer it constantly. We was like, yo, we was like, Terry, you coming back so much to fix this electrical shit, bro? You need something? You like fruit? You like a drink? We'll buy you something, man. Terry was like, nah, it's part of the job. It's something. But like, shout out to Terry. My son was doing his job.
He really was, yo. I appreciate Terry. Thank you, Terry.
Yeah, he kept flipping that damn switch. He was like, all right, try not to pop this shit again.
Yeah,
we had to figure out that it was one part their electrical shit couldn't handle anything going on. We was playing Russian roulette when it came to plugging in the chargers, the computer.
Once we eventually we figured out it was just the surge protector, the breaker.
Which man, I ultimately that when I remember when I talked to you about whether to bring the surge protector or not, man, I wish I definitely left it because that shit ended up being a waste of my suitcase. It was just sitting there the whole time.
I remember when we were in the room and you would lightly plug the surge.
Yeah.
He was like, nope.
Bro, what was worse about it is I didn't even finish plugging. It
like,
went
nah,
half.
it's
It went
like,
half
bro.
and said,
Nah, yeah,
and
said,
that
bro.
you literally heard the fridge go off. I was like, oh. I was like, we gotta call Terry.
Yeah, so I go back downstairs to Jackie. I was like, Jackie, what happened?
Yeah. And at this time, this is like the third or fourth time it's happened. So it was like, yeah, we figured out.
Yep.
We figured out.
Like, so we're not plugging this thing back in again.
So this is exactly why we realized God had plans for us on that Monday. When we got in, it was too early, so we had to make maneuvers, found food, and then we was checking out the spot to find. Shout outs to Boots, the CVS of London. They had the stuff that we needed to pick up for more supplies. We made our rounds.
And you know what's something funny? I realized I left my bed. I left my body.
You left the body wash?
I left the body.
I didn't even know. I thought we cleared out the room.
I was like, wait a minute. I was like,
oh shit.
I
mean, it was a London style body wash. So, hey,
I know.
man.
I was like, yo. I realized that
maybe
we got on the plane, and I was
maybe
like,
they called Terry, and maybe that was his gift.
Listen. All I know is the universe, the good Lord took us off that top floor.
Oh, hell yeah. It took us off the top floor, which was a blessing in disguise. Because, man, making them trips, walking back up them goddamn stairs at nighttime, bro,
I'm glad we didn't have to do that third flight.
We were safe in our own little secret bunker of a hotel, looking like a secret room in that one section.
Right.
But I was just happy it was just one stairs up, and then we was Gucci.
We was there.
We wasn't up in the sky and shit like that.
Back up again. Whew.
But maneuvering that shit, that was nice. And then just all the maintenance. We chalked Monday down to straight up mate because us trying to figure out the maneuvers of what we can and what we can't do when it comes to charging phones and trap phones and shit like that, and making the maneuver off of that. But that was our Monday in general. Just kind of get used to that, and then we got thrown for a loop because the Monday weather. So we was there. It was nice and warm at first, and then by the time we hit Nando's and shit like that, it started to hit its rain peak, and this shit was getting colder and shit like that. We was having back and forth weather. We didn't realize that. Honestly, that was gonna be one of the better days when it came to weather.
Yeah, bro. Listen, weather was all over the.
Yep. That Monday weather, we was going through what we can do, and then we had the food and maneuvering. So God proved to us why Monday was the way it had to be. So smash cut to now Tuesday.
Hold on, before we leave Monday, London top site. F you for jacking up the food tour.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
F you guys.
Yeah. Not only did y'all jack up the food tour, we're trying to, shift it to another day, which we already had stuff set up, and it was like the time maneuvering we couldn't do. We just couldn't like finagle what we could with that work towards y'all stuff. So homie co-host going through the trying to get his money back off that shit.
It was. I had to go to the credit card company.
Like what y'all doing and what y'all maneuvering and messing up with. Y'all just got to do better on that Expedia and figure it out. What like if y'all know niggas is going on vacation and it's specifically the only nigga you got for these food tours, cut that shit out. Like there was like how many times did we try to book the speed tour and the speedboat tour was fighting us? Why the hell did the food tour just allow this shit just to go in general, just to email you quickly and tell you, oh yeah, the nigga's not gonna be available? Really?
Exactly. So I don't know whose responsibility that is. Yeah, Expedia and them guys.
It's the collab between both was fucking up. That's all. Yep. So that put a damper. And that put a fixture on Monday. So switching into Tuesday, this is our first time waking up for the continental breakfast. Now the continental breakfast, once again, we have to define what the fuck a continental breakfast be. And for everybody, I guess it's fucking different because man, we went there, and I'm not gonna lie, I walked down there, and I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting maybe some egg, maybe a waffle, maybe a pancake, maybe a bacon or something like that.
I will give them this. They did tell me beforehand that it just that.
Oh, it just said just straight up pastries?
They said it was gonna be pastries, bread. It was gonna be they did. Damn. I do remember that getting a message from them on Expedia about that.
Oh so yeah,
I will not.
I think Carlos had the control on that, but I went down there and I saw that shit, especially the mere fact that I just saw bread and cheese. I was like, oh, they fucking with a nigga here.
Yeah.
When I went down there, I said, you know what? At least they got cereal, they got some milk, and they got some pastries and they got some chocolate and stuff like that. They can maneuver and stuff. So I'll make that work.
It's funny because they had eggs there. I'm like, where y'all? I was trying to figure that out.
Were they hard boiled?
I didn't have one, so
I kept looking at it and I was
like, that when I just wasn't sure. Like, am I supposed to crack these? I'm like,
I'm sitting here. I'm not. First of all, I'm not trying to damage nothing over. And second of all, I'm not trying to I'm not trying to get sick trying to break down and eat a raw egg or some shit like what y'all doing?
I'm trying to be on my best behavior after we would play with hockey with the fleas.
Facts.
All day. So.
Facts. They ain't go. We already got one instance of racism and looked at weird of being a black American. Like, we're not trying to make a stigma. We trying to be good folks.
Right? We trying to just get to food. I'm like, fuck the day at this point.
Overall, throughout the week, I'm pretty sure Jackie and Rita and the whole crew of them, they loved us.
Oh yeah,
we met Roy for one day, and that nigga loved us. He wanted to take us to a pub.
Right?
Nigga, like we made some good friends.
Oh yeah, like I said, after we got to that first Monday, everything else was great. We had a blessing.
We was having a good time chat. Jackie was the one who gave us the ideas for hop on, hop off, bus and shit like that. Like we was cooling with them and stuff like that. So breakfast wasn't that much an issue. It was just a placeholder and set. And honestly, the reason why I enjoy breakfast is it sets a time precedent to wake up and get shit moving, so we could get food out the way. We can wake up.
Yeah, and it had enough variety for us to fill us up to get us going.
Yeah, so we had the goods, and then we took showers and we got ready for our first main setup, which was the London Eye to maneuver that day. So we was figuring out the trams for the first time. We was figuring out where to maneuver and where to go there and how to use the card. And thank God for our time in Amsterdam, so we could realize what the tap on and tap off function pretty much is. And we let Google Maps be our guide. And man, the New Yorkers that we are, we adapted to their train system really fast.
Yeah, our ride on the tube was very fun.
Yep. The tube was nice. Thank God they had a place to stay that was warm when it was cold out that bitch.
Because it was cold.
It was cold and it was rainy already.
Yep.
But that Tuesday, we got ushered into that sad Seattle ass weather that London has out because bruh, we was waiting, and then we got on the tube. We got off where we were supposed to get out of. But man, remember we had to figure our way outside
that first home. Oh yeah, man. Listen, trying to figure out up
upstairs,
and
downstairs. It felt like the airport all over again. I was like, what the fuck? I'm getting out.
We had to run it out, go up to ask somebody like, yo, how we get up out of here?
That ass. And then in the midst of that, we were seeing all them stores. I saw the way how they label some of these stores is funny out there. They have like a store called Fat Face and all this other shit. I was like, damn.
Yeah, we see one of those every time we go out there. It's always one that just like.
And speaking of that, these niggas love themselves some Krispy Kreme. Yes. London can't say shit on America because boy, I was out there and I seen at least 9 stores of Krispy Kremes out there.
Out there.
You definitely love Krispy Kremes when the gift store also has Krispy Kreme in there. I was like, y'all niggas love the hell out of Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, they was out there for real. Them Krispy Kremes was out there.
At Krispy Kremes, I seen the most. It's between Boots and Krispy Kreme. The 2 places that I seen the most.
Don't forget about your store.
Tesco's that ain't got shit. That was missing mad shit. That was yo. I heard all shits about Tesco's, but Tesco's ain't got shit on 7-Eleven. Tesco's ain't got shit on it. Y'all niggas want a real store? Come to 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven will give you everything off the clothing of his bag. But y'all Tesco's, once y'all got something like the Slurpee, y'all ain't shit on 7-Eleven. I tell y'all.
So at this point, we went to the London Eye. We made our way to the London Eye, and then we got on the London Eye, which was nice.
The London Eye was really nice. It's worth its weight. And we took a picture beforehand, and we realized why, because they set up the backgrounds and stuff like that. But just going on the trip, I know if you're not a fan of Ferris wheels and you're not a fan of heights, this actually works to everything, kind of the adventure, like the slow moving of it going up and it being a nice soft ride and stuff like that, and you getting to see the sights as it slowly lifts off and stuff like that. And taking from experience, it gives you enough time to, if you was cold outside, you could change and style yourself up to take pictures and shit like that all the time, stuff like that. You look down at the waters and gives you a good like, if you want a full scope of seeing all the stuff around without getting like a full ass tour and stuff like that, that's definitely a good first spot.
Yeah, we took some flicks up there. Shout out to the people at the pod below us, because I took a flick of them and they posed for me. I was like,
oh yeah, they did. It was saying hi and shit like that. That was cool. Yeah. That was good. It was going all the way up. We was recording all the way till we hit the tippy top and shit like that. And then by the time we was coming down, they would tell you they was taking a photo. And it was so funny. I was there looking around. I was like, what kind of camera are they to take photo? I was like wondering where the fuck. Maybe it's like a small camera that could find us and we wouldn't realize it till it snapped. I looked down. I saw this big ass super size, like it was like make my monster grow size ass camera. And I saw that shit. I was like, what the fuck? That was such a funny looking giant ass camera. That ass. Well, we had a peak perfect photo off of that shit that they took a picture of us. That shit. I love that photo. That shit.
That's one of my favorite.
I love the photos that we took at these special locations. I like when you do traveling shit like that, and we always say it's worth it. Like if it's a home base, I get why you don't want to do like the gimmick of buying the photos and stuff like that. But when you're going outside and traveling, you want magnets and shit like that and collectibles and stuff like that. It is really honest perfect gift to have for those kind of members and just getting those different kind of high deviated quality.
Yeah, for real. We got all the things.
Yeah, we got when we was in that gift store, we started loading up on supplies and stuff like that. We got into the first gift store and we got that stuff. Then we started the second gift store, and shout outs to that shit having that shit was one part gift store, one part like Harry Potter store. They had all the supplies. They definitely made sure that they had the London spirit in mind. They had Krispy Kremes in that bitch. They had the Long Boy dogs and shit like that. They had the wand sets where that's when we started getting we got the mystery wands on deck.
Yeah, for real. I had a whole wand battle in the hotel.
Shout outs to co-host to picking up that one at first, and then I saw you pick up one. I said, fuck it, I'll just add to my repertoire. And that was definitely a worthwhile purchase. Because man, niggas, you don't know how much fun you can have when you cut on the light and you can have a light show. Like it reminds me of them lightsaber duels that I used to have with my friends back then. But like the wand battle in the hotel was hilarious. Nigga, we was doing deep dives, we was doing blast across the rooms and shit like that. That shit was fun. That shit was great, man. Shout out. So I put the wand up with baby Grogu over there, and he holding the wand and shit like that. He cool, but nah, that shit was fun. That's so we was collecting well, and that was good. So after we did that, we had some time to kill before our next plan later on in the night, which was the pub crawl. Yes. So we decided in the time to book our hop on hop off journey for the next bus ride. Now this is where the weather started getting us. We was on we was on the tour, and we know now knowing that when you're on the tour bus, you want to be on the tippity top because that's the only way you're gonna be able to really take nice photos on stuff around and stuff like that. Stuff you see, while you're passing by, and you get a full scope of that. Now keep in mind, this is the time where it started to drizzle, but it was brick cold at this point. Boy, we got up there to the tippity top, and as you would expect, everybody was like, so the bus on top was covering halfway, and then the halfway was open out at the top, and you would expect all these seats to be, it just rained, so these seats are wet, so you got to dry them off. Everybody at the top had already covered the part that was inside that was nice and warm and cold, so we had to sit there on the top going through this tour cold as hell. Man, we was up there shovers, and we was trying to listen in on the because they give you headphones. We passed around the headphones, but we had the headphones JetBlue. We listened in on the tours and them giving landmarks and shit like that. But in the midst of it, I'm taking photos and then I'm putting back on my glove. Because, boy, my hand was fucking in a shock fritz. I was so scared that I was going to my hand was going to fritz and I was going to drop my phone off the bus or my hand was going to freeze to death, get off this guy. Because we was on the tour bus for a long while and we was...
Yeah, man, listen, thank goodness for this extra week. It saved my life because, it was brick.
Oh, my God. I was stressed.
I was...
Thank God for that first set of people who came off after
we took them seats real fast.
Nobody moved. We made sure we moved so fast, and we got into we was at the end, catching the end part of the warm. Our backs was still cold, but we was getting as much warmth as we can. And the niggas who got on at the later point in time, I know they was tight. They was going further back, and they were so upset. I know.
They was so mad, bro.
Every time they showed up, you could tell. You could see their faces. They was pissed off. There was a couple of white girls behind us that was just like, one of her friends was fed up with her. She was like, I know it's cold, bitch. I was like, I had one headphone in, I had one headphone out, and I was dying. I love the conversations I keep walking into because these shits just keep being funny. She was just so fed up with her friends. She said, "Bitch, I'm cold too. You don't have to point out the obvious. I'm cold."
Yo, someone else went upstairs. They went right back downstairs. Like, yo, we're not doing this.
One couple came up and they said, "Oh hell no!" I went back downstairs. I was dying. We was on that bus for a solid like a good an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah.
And boy, fighting that cold, catching the photos what we can when we was maneuvering around, and then they paused for a minute and took about a solid 30 minutes to get their shit together, and we was trying to gather what warmth we can, and then they said we had to get off in the next couple stops to get on the blue line to get back to the London. Like at that point, we was starving, we was cold. So when we got on the next bus, we was like, "Fuck that top." We went inside and we went right to the back, and we was trying to warm up with whatever the hell we could, and then that shit took us back to the London Eye. And then by the time we maneuvered over there, we got off, and boy, we went into that fish and chip spot, and we had
he was like, "Warm fish,
yeah. Give me the fish and chips, give me the chicken burgers, give me every fucking thing you got." That shit was good.
Listen, we sit here and get woke because we talking about my legs.
Oh, let's talk about going through that section, that one section when we got into that food spot where you felt the warmth just hit you automatically.
Yes, yo,
bro, that shit was a godsend.
As soon as you walked out, let's go.
Oh, and once again, yo, shout outs to them prices. Them not hitting the craziest tax on food or whatever it is, but yo, y'all could get a lot cheap because, bro, we had the fish and chips, we had the ice, the floats, we had the teas, we had the sauces, we had the chicken burgers and shit like that. We maneuvered all that shit, and we talking about a little past like $10. We not even talking about
we did good. Price it was great.
We wasn't even talking about we wasn't even talking like 20 pounds. That shit was like in between like 10 to 15 pounds, and I was like, "Oh, we getting all this shit for that much, man?" That shit, I praise y'all for that. I appreciate that shit. Yeah. We was feasting, we was enjoying that shit, and then after that, it was our time to maneuver to Piccadilly Square, Piccadilly Circus, and then when we went out there, we got a little bit early for the pub crawl. So here's our figuring out shit. We go to the pub crawl.
Co-host, you forgot something.
What?
You forgot to mind the gap.
Oh. So we have in America, we have the closing doors. Yo, y'all recording of this one man when we go on these trains, bro. Yo, this guy says mind the gap with the angriest tone. He says it like niggas have been pissing him off all the day. He says mind the gap, and yes, that pause is included. Like a motherfucker. That man is up.
Listen, that man was over it. He was tired of everybody and everything.
If you fall, if you get into any kind of that nigga, I guarantee he was fed up. And the maneuvering, the underground line 1 and the underground line 2, we had to figure our way to whatever the fuck was going on, and that took a while to figure out what was northbound or what was section 1, what was northbound section 2. Cause like one time we was in there trying to find northbound, and it was like go to section 2, but we couldn't see. We found northbound 3 and 4. We couldn't find northbound 2, and it ended up being something else or something. I think we was looking for, I think it was supposed to be under the name of southbound, but it ended up being northbound 2 or something like that. Like this shit flip flops this shit all the time.
Yeah, so eventually, by Wednesday we figured everything out.
Yeah, but it was just the back and forth off that. Mind the gap. Their underground is still dirty, but it's just not New York dirty.
Yeah,
that's just what I gotta say. I think the cleanest underground we've seen so far is Amsterdam.
Yeah, well, hey, at least on this one we can read the signs and stuff,
Yeah, so I mean, there's still graffiti and slash marks all over the shit. Like I recorded that shit, and niggas were still pointing that out. So they still got.
It was still a subway.
Yeah, so you still got your. But definitely, yeah. After mind the gap and getting up to Piccadilly Circus and shit like that. So we got there a little too early for the pub crawl, but also we was confused as hell what the fuck was going on. Because we got to the spot, and then they had the whole rope situation, and we saw niggas waiting there, but we was like, how the fuck did they get over there?
Yeah.
We was confused as hell what the fuck was going on. So, and then we had time to kill, so we took a turn around into the area and stuff like that, and that's when we found the first official Harry Harry Potter store that had like Lord of the Ring, Game of Thrones, Peaky Blinders and shit like that. So so you was taking your pictures and stuff over there. And we was looking around, and we was kind of like window watching for now, and then just ideally we'd be back for that.
Yep. So eventually, we get back to the pub crawl spot, and I talked to she wasn't a bouncer. Could have been a bouncer, but I didn't think she was a bouncer. But she told us I asked her about the tour. She's like, yeah, your host is not here yet, and just get ready. Right. So we were a little early. So
there was maneuvering and fixing that stuff up. So when we got ready to go downstairs, everything was all Gucci. So we started a pub crawl, and this is where we met Kira.
So that's where we met. Actually, that's where we met Sierra. Because we thought that he was Kira at first, and then we figured it out as we went along through the tour.
Yeah,
and she was off.
Shout out. We told you we was gonna shout you out on this, and
we did.
Whenever this drops, you're gonna be able to hear your name in full specs of this. You will be tagged in this episode as well.
Facts. We got you on Instagram. Yes, we're gonna tag you in this episode. So yes.
We'll be saying this on recording, so we'll remember in the editing process and all that stuff. Yeah. But yes, big shout outs to everything that you can maneuver. We was at the first pub crawl. I wanted to set a precedent that we didn't wild out in the first pub crawl because I didn't know what was gonna happen next, because the first place was really fine. I was wearing whatever was that one was the one that turned into the club later. So I was confused why that one was okay, but the rest of them that wasn't a club had an issue. That made no sense, because if the other ones was treating it as a club, then why the fuck first one allowed me to go in as regular as it did?
They ain't appreciate our New York fashion.
No. And then at the same time, I was out all day. I wasn't wearing any regular shit. So I was trying to be as comfy as I could because we was gonna maneuver out all that stuff. I didn't know I had to wear any certain kind of thing. But for the pub crawl, it's a bar, nigga. Like we just trying to go there to drink and enjoy ourselves. I didn't know they had to be a dress code. So we go to the first spot, and that was fine. And then we take vodka straight shots and shots for us that taste like fucking licorice and stuff like that.
And I had a Heineken for mom.
Yeah, shout out to Heineken. And then we maneuvered to the next spot. So we maneuvered to the next spot, and that's when I started to have it. So we all everybody's letting in, giving us the drink tokens we could get for discounts and stuff like that. They're getting us prepped and ready. So I go up to the homie look at my pants and say, nah, joggers ain't allowed. So what we end up maneuvering, because we got to kill some time now, we end up looking around and seeing what we could do in the meantime, and I find an arcade. So we go over to, I think it's called the Las Vegas arcade and stuff like that. They got maneuvering and stuff like that. So they got a whole bunch of stuff, fighting games. They got from Tekken to air hockey to Mario Kart. So we was in there chilling. I was playing Mario Kart for the most part because we found the spot late after a while and stuff like that. So it was getting close to the time. So we played Mario Kart, like a quick round and stuff like that. Finished that off, and then we left to go meet up with where we thought the spot was.
Yeah, we thought
because I didn't know there was like two with the same name around the same spot. So we go to that first spot, and then I realized this ain't the fucking spot. So we go over to the other spot, which is another like 10 minutes away. We walk all the way to the other spot, only to find out these niggas had just
So I messaged you, and I was like, yo, where y'all at? And she gave me the address, and I was like,
no. What was funny was we didn't realize we was just over there. We saw that it was like 11 minutes away, and I was just like, what if it's okay? We're going kind of around the same direction, but it didn't dawn on us
until we got back over there.
Until we got over there, and then I look over and I was like, ain't no way in hell. I look at that corner, I said, is that Ralph? Were we just over here? Did we spend all this fucking time leaving this spot just to come back over here?
Yep. And I was just like,
that was something else. Sierra had a set, and at least like this third spot, they had no problem. I went in just fine. We started to throw extra drinks back to be on the catch up move. So we had the Jaegers for the Jaegerists, and all that stuff. We was throwing shots back, and then we was chilling, and that's where we was giving Sierra the whole layout of the podcast, us meeting, and a whole bunch of stuff. We had a whole conversation and stuff like that. We took a photo with her that I'm still like, where was that supposed to be posted up at? I would like to see the photo.
I don't know. I gotta message her about that.
Yeah, we gotta hit her up and ask where that general where that, because I don't think it was on the London Instagram of the pub crawler. I was checking a couple of times to see if they post stuff. So.
Yeah, I ain't checked, but she's on the podcast page, so we'll message her.
Yeah. We'll see what's up, because if we can get that photo, we'll definitely share that and post it.
Oh, definitely.
But so yeah, we're maneuvering past that, and that was fine. And then we got to because we're supposed to go, like, ideally it was 5 pubs, and the first and the last one is kind of the same one, because we go there as a setup for the first one, and then we go there later again in the night as a club.
Yeah. So I think we hit 4. It was 4. Yeah, we started.
Ideally, it was like 4, because we did one, and then they kicked, and then they didn't allow me in the second one. We did the third one, and then they didn't allow me in the fourth.
Yeah, and so but we went back for the fourth one. We
back
went
to
back
the arcade. We was trying to do a couple of stuff. There was stuff out. The biggest representation of things being on the other side was the time we was playing Guitar Hero. Yep. And they flipped us on the star
lefty mode. Yeah,
and then playing that shit, I was like, this is exactly why we drive.
Yeah, exactly.
Like shit was muscle memory threw us the fuck off, and I was like, no, that was not gonna.
So happy I didn't get the rental.
Yeah. So we maneuvered that. We was trying to do the VR. VR had just crashed and shit like that, and we was trying to make the most of the arcade experience and stuff. So we did that. Everything was good. We met up with the
hold on. I will talk about this claw.
After this claw. Go ahead, because I the second I saw the claw, I was like, this is gonna get us fucked up. And the second we started going into this maneuver, co-host got pulled in by the claw.
Right, I knew what I was getting into. I was like, you know what? Since we here, this clawed me over like 5 times. I had this doggone stuffed animal like 5 times, and it kept letting it go.
That claw had him fucked up, but we maneuvered out of there, and then after we maneuvered out of there, we met up with the gang, who, like, majority of them was starting to feel the basis of that shit. And even Sierra had asked us. She was like, give me a idea on how you feel the rest of the group is, because half of them was kind of gone, and the other half, I loved our group though. They was mad.
Yeah, our group was lit.
They loved the fuck out of us, low key. It was like, hey, you're back.
Every time we got back with them, it's like seeing old friends again. It was great.
It was great. It was lovely. It was good. I know if we was in the other pubs with them drinking shit like that, shit would have been something. That shit would have been something. But all right, so we finishing up the pub crawl. Sierra heading out. She drops us off at the last place. She gives us some more of the liquor shots. So we hitting up the shots. We go downstairs, and now it's club mode and stuff. Like that. So it shifted over to club mode and stuff like that. We was in the club chilling. We got some more drinks and stuff like that. We was chilling off. We was in the club for about an extra, I want to say like an hour.
Yeah, about an hour.
We was chilling that. That's when people started gathering up and stuff like that. Yo, son, the funniest part in that club was watching the security guard pop with the rest of everybody else.
Yeah, yo.
That nigga was feeling the music like a motherfucker. He was pop, locking, dropping in the shit. And then there was mad shit going on, man.
There was so much shit going on.
There's some shirtless niggas in the corner in a circle and shit like that.
Yeah,
like, mad shit was going on.
Yeah, what's going on here?
That shit just happened. But eventually, like probably around like the 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock like mark, we decided to head out. At that time, like all the because their trains don't run 24/7 like in New York, so that was cut off. So we had to maneuver with the double decker bus.
Yeah, because after midnight, them trains.
So we maneuvered with the double decker bus. We got to the top, but inside this time was warm. So we had that good warmth heading back, and then by the time we got back, McDonald's was closed at the time, so listen, we couldn't maneuver to McDonald's.
I knocked on that bus. I tell you, I was.
Oh yeah, 100%. There was no problem with that. It was too. By the time we got back, by the time we got back inside and really fell asleep, it was ideally like 3 o'clock.
Oh yeah, because we had a nice long ride on that bus too. Boy.
That shit was an hour plus. So hell yeah, of course, knockout. And then the way the location where it dropped us off was really close. We just had short maneuver of walking, so that was no problem. Also, the where we were at in our guest house hotel thing, it was literally smack dab in the middle of them Squidward houses.
Yes.
So we was in the suburbs, and all them houses look like that one episode of Squidward where he was stuck in the community full of Squidwards and shit like that. They all look like them goddamn tiki torch ass houses and shit like that. So where the hotel guest bank is, it's straight smack dab in the middle. So no matter whether we was getting off the train and leaving the train to walk up, or going from the bus to walk, or going from like the town to get a snack or something like that and walk back, bro, each time it felt like, goddamn, this is a walk to get into the middle of this fucking location.
Yeah, because we were inclined on both sides. I'm like, oh yeah, man.
We was like, what the fuck? This is taking a minute. Every time I pass by one lot full of like grass and shit like that, I'm like, is this it? Is this it? No.
And them doggone Squidward houses kept throwing me off because I'm like,
yeah, exactly. You think you close? You like, nah, that's the same fucking house as that.
Yeah, right.
Shit. But yeah, so that pub crawl and stuff like that closes off Tuesday and stuff. That was another quality Tuesday that we was maneuvering around. So we get up for Wednesday's adventures and stuff like that. We do the same usual as we did Tuesday. Get the breakfast and get ourselves ready and stuff like that. And this is where the weather started to kick into triple overtime. We had the heavy rain that started to come down and fuck with us. And not only fuck with us, it fuck with the train. We got there and we instantly missed the one train that we needed to catch up with the time. So we ended up, they was like, because of weather, track was, maneuvering the way it was. Track was moving slow. Shit was that. We was trying to make it for our walking tour that we had on time to make it. We got out of the train system. And then this was like, we was a few minutes off the walking tour shit like that. So we're calling to see exactly where we got to meet up at. And at that point, this is where the bullshit started hitting with Expedia. So go ahead, co-host. Talk about the mess of the walk.
So I call the people. I'm like, listen, we got here a little late because of transportation issues. Yeah. And then I'm telling them like, yo, can you let us know where the guide is? And they're like, no, we can't let you know where the guide is. We don't know where the guide is because secret tour. I'm like, can you call the guide to find out where he is so we can catch up with them? They're like, no, call the guy, but he's not going to answer the phone because he doesn't want to serve other people. I'm like, I'll pay for this tour. Find that motherfucker. And I'm going back and forth with them.
It's a walking tour, man. Y'all can't tell us. We wasn't even that late. We wasn't even that late. We could, I feel like if we knew the direct and we walked, this has happened before. We've met up with other walking tours.
Yes, we actually had that scenario in incident. Yeah. So Fun London Tours, F you too.
Yeah. Y'all messing like that was some bullshit. But so we started to make the maneuver of what we can. I saw some spots on Instagram and shit like that. I said it's cold as hell and it's raining and it's a mess. So let us maneuver where we can to. I saw the nice hot chocolate spot, so we made it over there to kind of just be a starting point where we can figure out where we can get some food from there and just maneuver at what the fuck. Yes,
I just saw this I Love Rain umbrella.
That was an omen. That was definitely an omen. It was becoming a rain mess at that point, but we had gotten our hot chocolate. We left and then we picked up an umbrella because it was really picking up for out there. So co-host had to get the umbrella, and then when he opened it out, he realized that it had said "I love rain," and boy, was that an omen for the rest of the week.
Yeah, I opened this umbrella and I was.
They said, "Oh, really? We tested you on that shit."
I'm like, I hate.
Very much so. So we maneuvered off of that, and we moved off to the next spot. So co-host was feeling noodles, so picked the noodle spot, and we found the spot that they also have out here in Times Square. But it's a wonderful like pick me up spot that if you want to maneuver what you can. But the noodle spot, the name is blanking on me. What was it again?
What was the place called?
No, it was definitely we had the udon noodles. Hold on, I took a. They said that their motto was cooking with light or something.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, I'll come back to it when I remember it. But after we had eaten that, we was trying to figure out a whole bunch of shit. We was sitting in there charging up our phones, and we was trying.
Yeah, it was warm, and we got noodles.
Yeah, so the noodles were fine. So we was there, and we was trying to maneuver what the hell we was doing next. We saw a perfect museums, but there was only at like early at the fucking butt crack of dawn and shit like that. or there was timed out and shit like that. So we saw like kind of the free galleries that was nearby. So we made a maneuver to over there, but we didn't realize the free gallery meant was only stuck in like one section.
Oh yeah, the little museum. Yeah,
yeah. We just wanted
to get out of the rain.
Honestly, yeah, we just wanted to do that, and we kind of had museum of some sorts on our list, so we just kind of maneuvered off of that, and then we kind of sat there. We was there for kind of like 30 minutes to an hour chilling over there, and then we really had to use the bathroom because like the space. What was fucked up was the bathroom was on the other side of the thing, but to get out of there you had to punch in a code. To get in there you had to punch in a code, so we didn't want to risk it. So just at that point we had left there to use the bathroom, and then there was like a public restroom nearby, but that's when we realized it was kind of the same situation as Amsterdam, where public restrooms you have to pay to use.
Yep.
So that was the happiest 20 pence I ever seen in my life, because I was looking through my change and they said it was 20 pence, plug that shit in and go past. Once they said it was 20 pence, I was like, shit, I got perfectly this one coin for that, perfectly to maneuver for the bathroom. Yep. I used that shit and I was feeling good at it.
Yeah, the coins came in handy. Them coins came real handy. I'm like, oh yeah, we actually got change for this. All right.
Yep. So after our bathroom activity and we left that, our next maneuver was trying to figure out how to kill time and shit like that. And in the midst of this, co-host was having the work situation from hell.
Yeah, so my coworker was filling me in on all the work situations that were going on, and I'm like, oh, they did what? They did what?
Oh, and we was niggas was get tossed left, right, and center. And we had this joke going into this shit that like after the first trip, because we did Amsterdam before the pandemic, and when we came back, the whole world changed. The whole world was changing regardless, because we was coming back to daylight savings time. So it was already losing an hour. So you already could guess our asses was gonna be tired after already going through a time sharing 5 hours difference.
Yep.
But on top of it, co-host was already wondering if he was coming back to a fucking job because all hell was breaking loose.
Right? I'm like, yo, that coworker filling me, and I'm like, what the is going on over there?
And this was the coworker we were supposed to meet up. We was planning to head out and go meet up with this coworker.
No, this was actually my other coworker. So the person we were supposed to go meet up with in London was my director. Yeah. And she was out sick for a week. That's why we didn't meet up with her. Yeah. So my coworker that was on the other side, she was filling me in on what was going on. And I was like, what is going on over there? But,
all hell was breaking loose, and it got so bad. Like we found the red telephone booths and stuff like that, and we started taking pictures around there. Yep. But yo, tell me how after Tuesday was filled with hop on, hop off bus. Bro, we had to work double time over to find a fucking hop on, hop off bus, because I bought the ride and we was good to ride for the next 2 days. Yep. We got like free passes on that shit. So we was gonna take advantage of it because we held on Wednesday and you had a meeting to hop in. So we took on we maneuvered ourselves around for like a hot minute, walking around for a solid trying to find one of these fucking buses, because apparently all of them that was around Tuesday that filled up all the streets and everything, all the motherfuckers disappeared when the weather got extremely cold.
Yeah, so we were looking around like, yo, it was not this hard to find this bus yesterday. What was going on?
Bro, there was one on every block. We almost got ran over by a bunch of them. like, come on. So the next day they was barely out, and then we had to maneuver our way, and we finally found one, and that shit was so fun. We got on that bus, and homie said, "Where you going?" We said, "We don't give a fuck. We going in the back."
Yeah, like it's raining.
Just keep driving. We don't give a shit. Just keep driving.
Yeah, he's like, it's raining. We're cold. Go. Yeah, we don't care.
We don't care where you go. So we just sitting in the back, chilling.
I'm trying to warm up as best we can.
Yeah, I'm trying to warm up. Co-host is in the meat. That was nothing but fluff.
Waste time.
Yeah, so we was rolling around and shit like that until it was time that we was close enough to. So we set for a dinner cruise at that time. So we was leaving out. We had to go back through the train systems and stuff like that. Yep. And boy, when we got out that train system of over there, we had to go through a tunnel. Boy, when we went through that tunnel, the meanest gust of wind and cold hit our body, and we was like, oh.
Listen, the level of disrespect this wind had, because at this point, y'all, the cruise was on a boat, so we're at by the water point.
Yeah, and boy, was it cold.
It was Rick.
Bro, thank God we went down that path, and when they signed us in for this stuff, they said we're early, but we can stay in that warm section and just wait it out. And boy, I'm happy they had that warm section set up.
Yes, warm is being generous, because it was still cold.
Yes, but it was better than being outside and like, imagine they told us wait outside in a line or some shit.
Oh, listen, I'd have been like, you know what? Not where's nearest boat? What we not gonna do is this.
Yeah, we would have ordered an Uber boat to wait. They would have been like, "When you going? No, you just gonna stay here.
No, sit here.
We don't have anywhere to go. We'll just run the meter until like we can get out because we was gonna order a fucking Uber boat or something."
Yeah, at that point, because it's like it's cold, it's brick, we've been in this cold and rain all day. It's brick, tired of this cold.
Yep. So the cruise gets ready, set up. We go walking in. We get handed champagne. There's a whole group divided around the sections and stuff like that. I think it was somebody's birthday for sure, and they had a divided section, all the stuff. So we took our seats and we sat down, and then this is a various course meal. So like I said before, when I was talking to the co-host, I asked them for a specific movie and stuff like that. Have you watched the menu yet?
No, I have not got a chance to watch the menu.
Co-host, I will keep bringing this up, just like the Chipmunks movie. We will come back to this at a certain time, but I want you to watch the menu and compare it to our experience that we had on that cruise ship, and you will look at the cruise ship differently, because when they was handing us shit, for anybody who saw the menu, and the menu was available to watch HBO Max, right? If you seen the menu, the shit that they was giving us in different courses, to like the first course was like bread and like tuna tartare and shit like that, and then they only gave us champagne for like the official drink and some water. But if you wanted to add some extra drinks to it, they had a slew of other drinks. They didn't have certain drinks, which is weird because they had a bar set up with like mad shit, but they was missing out on a whole bunch of shit that co-host was asking for. So we made do with what the hell they had, and then what they had was some other shit. So we started mixing it together with the champagne for it to taste better and stuff. But they was giving us course after course after like different course. They gave us that. Then it went to the tomato soup. Then it went to I guess after that was the main course. Then they gave us like the dessert and then the tea to finish off. But in the midst of it, they had a dude doing performance. I think his name was Daniel.
Yeah,
that's what his Instagram was, Daniel. But he did covers of different like classical songs and stuff like that. It was like really nice and stuff like that. And then he asked at the very beginning, if you have requests, just come up to tap him and let him know. So I put in the request for, since we are in the London area, I was like, Wonderwall by Oasis, which has been memed to high heaven like for the longest time, where they always say jokingly, somebody's like, if it's anybody with a guitar, especially if they're like in London and stuff like that, they make the meme, anyways, here's Wonderwall. So I wanted to hear somebody sing because I knew it was going to be a big popper to the crowd. Whether people was upset to hear it or not, I mean, you play Wonderwall in the whole. So he told me he was gonna play that later on, and I didn't know he meant by like the second set when he comes up for like a second after dinner and shit like that. I didn't know how to do that. But by the end of that shit started getting like fun with everybody interacting. Like after he played Wonderwall, that's when the crowd interaction started to get better. And then we were singing Happy Birthday for the homie and stuff like that. And shit was just a fun time. That was good work on the guy. He was very entertaining, and he had that everybody maneuvered together.
Yeah, once everybody got comfy and stuff, we started all singing along. Yeah,
it was a fun time to behold and stuff like that. Can we talk about that bathroom? We went there, and that shit had all the cold boat hidden in that goddamn bathroom.
Yes, yo, I went to the bathroom. I was like, okay, I gotta get up and go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom. I stepped foot in that bathroom. It was like I stepped foot in the Arctic tundra.
Nigga, it was like that was the section where they eject straight to the water.
Everything was cold. The water was cold. I opened the door to go into the bath. There was this wind that was just and I'm just like, I gotta hurry up and get the hell up out of here. I had to go. Once I got back out there, I had to walk back up. Bro,
it was so much and that was going on with the cold out there. Like it was just reason to high heaven for no fucking reason.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's right. I forgot we on this water.
Yeah, that was the biggest reminder. Between that and not only that, but we get on the boat and then it starts raining on the boat, which I mean, it became a theme for the next day following over.
Yeah.
But like, yo, just the constant amount of rain that came through. And then not only that, after we finished with all the menu circulation and shit, that the dinner that happened on that, we were still fucking hungry.
Oh yeah.
We were still fucking hungry.
I forgot what we got after that.
McDonald's.
Oh.
So we both looked at each other. We was like, we get McDonald's after this, right? Yup. So we went back. That's when I got my millionaires donut.
Listen, my mind set at that point was to get hell away from this water.
Yeah.
ASAP.
And get out of that tunnel. Because we knew it was going to be a bitch. We went back into that tunnel and then we took the train going right back. So we was in that sweet spot. So we took the train back, and that's when we figured that our where we needed to go was on the opposite side.
Yeah.
Because we had left out, but we left out on the opposite side, and we looked out and we was like, okay, everything here looks fucking different. So we went and walked past and went back up on the platform, transfer on the other side. So we got back, and that's when we knew the distance was halfway point, because we kept walking up and we was like, damn, this shit's far. So before we got to the middle point, we was like, damn, we still hungry. So we went off to McDonald's, and then we got a whole full set of food to come back. Yo, McDonald's was always the clutchest place to go.
Oh, nah, definitely. McDonald's came in clutch every night that we got back late.
Yeah, so we got that McDonald's, and then we had a feast, and we was good to close out.
Yep.
So going into Thursday was a culmination of us maneuvering of what we could do on Tuesday, because we was around the London Eye area, and we was trying to set up for like the speedboat to really take our time before we figured out to do the hop on hop off bus. But in that time, they was like kind of sold out, and things was kind of working out of our favor. So in general, we made up for the time. We set it for Thursday. We set it for one time on Thursday. But then by the time we had woken up, I woke up before kind of co-host, and I saw like the rain and snow mixture, and I was like, oh shit. And then they had emailed you saying that they pushed back the time for like 1 hour, and that's how you knew that they were locals, because they were like, oh, we expect the rain to be done like an hour later. And honestly, it was. Yep. It was done that time. And then we got down to the speedboat. We got ourselves maneuvered. That's when we met Nathan. Nathan was the big homie. He fixed us all up, ready for the speedboat trip and stuff like that. And we literally get on the boat. And when the boat starts, that's when it starts fucking raining and hailing.
Again.
I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, we gotta worry about the water that's splashing us here. But then fucking rain and hail starts to combo us in the midst of that shit. And I know nobody whose door has glasses right now can't see straight. I'm putting on my glasses so I could block out. Like, I can't see shit out these glasses, but like I use that to block out that shit. Nathan realized at the halfway point and starts to give us all goggles, shit like that. And I was like, all right, that's cool. So Nathan told us like, when we go out further, we're gonna hit a point where we pass the police. And once we hit that, we get into the like as fast as we want on this boat. And boy, did they mean it. Shout outs to the homie Jazz, who was maneuvering that boat, because man, that nigga was maneuvering.
Yes, he was, yo.
Shout outs to co-host that had the work phone that could record better, because I had my new phone that I had just gotten within a month, and boy, me recording shit on that shit was a scared task, because I was scared after every bump that my shit was gonna fly out. His phone had grip on it. My shit did.
Yes, the work phone has extra grip with it, so I pulled that phone right out and started doing my thing, because I was like, I'm not pulling out my phone, because my phone don't got that type of grip.
Exactly.
My phone will go flying into the water.
Yep, and boy, that Kirk Franklin stomp that we did, where we flew up into the air and smashed the ground, that one specific one that we did. Oh my god, I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I picked the right phone, because I was like, yeah, my phone would have been whoop. I'm like,
yeah, between and everything was hit. That I think that speedboat was like peak adventure moment, because the music was hitting. There was certain moments we was the hype people in front. We was getting all our money. Yo, we was enjoying the hell out of ourselves.
I enjoyed that speedboat so much, yo.
Speedboat in London Eye, we can't recommend enough. Like
do both of those. Do them both. Don't even think about it. Do them both.
Shout outs to Thermal Rocket, and they running the water game out there. We found the car to prove that they running the water game out there, but that shit was so good. Like, that speedboat was really wonderful and shit like that. So they had the hook on that, and then once we got back into like regular vicinity, homie gave us some drinks, and we was clinking on that shit, and then Nathan gave us the full tour. So I just want to give big shout outs to the homie Nathan and Jazz for taking us on a good adventure and stuff like that. Homie was giving big adventures on the tour. I was the hype man. He liked the energy. He knew right off the back we was from New York. He was giving us some touring, some breakdowns and stuff like that, like the palace that was full of gold that we'd see later and stuff like that. How much this costs in comparison to our costs and shit like that. It was a fun time. We had jokes and stuff. We enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah,
that shit was lit and club, and we had a fun time. So we finished that, and then our next one up was the London Dungeon, where in the description of the motherfucker That shit said 15 minutes. 15 minutes turned into 2 hours. Boy, I was trying to go in there and just trying to like just chill and enjoy that time because I wanted to go to Camden Market to go pick up shit. But like, bro, that shit was long. The pictures that we took at the very beginning was very nice, and we had that shit all set up. But then they said, don't use your phones. Don't go in with like sharp objects and stuff like that. I didn't know anything to expect from this London dungeon. So they didn't really specify exactly what's involved in this shit. We just know that you're kind of going through a dungeon. I didn't know if it was like a museum or how the shit was set up. So we go in and we go through the walking experience at first. That feels like it's supposed to be like kind of a haunted house. Stuff's gonna jump out at you as they explain. Don't like throw hands with anybody that jumps out with you and shit like that. And the whole theme of this shit is that you're a traitor and stuff like that. You go through like various things of like King George trying to chop off your head and X, Y, and Z. They put you on the boat ride and they explicitly tell you you're gonna get wet. But then at this point, you're like, well, fuck it. I can't do anything about this shit. So you go in there and I just like the part that it plunges you, but it's not the plunge that splash. It's just the last hurdle right before you get off. It hits in such a way that the water comes out and literally splashes at your leg. So I was like, oh, what the fuck? It like hit my leg and that's exactly where my phone's at. So I was like, I just avoided my phone hitting water for it to get splashed on. I was like, so like majority of the trip, I spent trying to dry myself off pretty much while we going through all this shit. And I specifically maneuver where we're at in the location. So every time they try to pick on somebody, they don't pick one of us or some shit like that. Where they try to press, like they was putting niggas in cages and shit like that, or putting them on a hot seat. I was like, yeah, that's good to watch. I don't want to be.
Listen, I was in total juice one. Like, I'll do it again.
Yeah.
I'm like, down with the king.
Yeah, and then yo, stuff started getting weird because we started sitting into chairs that had animatronic shits and stuff like that. The weirdest shit was the bug. The bugs that crawled
that one definitely.
That one was uncomfy as hell. I did not expect bugs to be crawling on your ass.
Yeah, that one.
The second that shit went, I was like, what the fuck?
The way you jumped,
bro, that shit was crawling on your ass. I was like, bro, I was not expecting that at all. I was expecting, I like back stuff was fine, crawling up there, but I did not expect that shit to crawl up your ass. That shit was weird. And then we was up to the one that was they had the witches in there that was in cages, and they jump out and they try to hop at you while they flash lights, and then they move in the chairs and shit like that. Like there's a lot going on. By the time we hit Jack the Ripper, goddamn, we was struggling to stay awake. We were sitting at some chairs and we were falling asleep, and all this shit was going on. They was flashing lights. Jack the Ripper had jumped out and tried to stab some chick. I was like, bro, I'm folding here. They had us in the Sweeney Todd, and that one tried to hit your back and slash at your head and all this other shit. Like there was a lot going on.
They doing all this talking. I'm like, I'm not trying to.
They making jokes. They give us storylines. They put us in this room. Oh, also the lady that was trying to give the autopsy that was spraying the goo. Mm-hmm. I was happy we was at the back seat of that shit because the goo was flying everywhere, and I know the niggas in the fronts were tight. I was like, what? How much water shit is on this stuff?
For real,
bro. How do you feel about going through the Black Plague stuff and the fun? Yo, they were so authentic that place was funky as hell.
Yeah.
Damn smells was kicking, man.
Kicking for real.
It was like they put some dirty gym socks all up in the corners of them bitches. I was like, yo, this funky as hell. They was doing a whole bunch. And then we got to like the part in the end where they simulated the final reckoning, where it was a hanging of that shit. And we didn't expect like how far the drop was. But the worst part for me was I had to pee. But I didn't expect that this ride was coming up. So I didn't know how bad this shit was gonna be. So I was like, they was like, if you want to leave, you could leave. Nobody else left. So I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm ready for this. But I already had to pee. So I was like, so that caused the picture that we have for the roller coaster. Because in the midst of that shit, they do the drop, but then at the same time, I'm trying to hold it in so I don't piss myself while I'm on this ride. So when they do this drop, I don't know if they're gonna fast maneuver, like pull the lever while they're counting down, so they just drop us. So I'm prepared for whatever. They do the drop and we fall straight fast, super speed, and then it's a simulated hanging. So you hang and then they drop. So there's a little jolt that's supposed to snap your neck, and then they pull us back up slow.
Yep.
So it was like the highlights of the London dungeon was the beginning parts where you're taking the photo, and then literally the end part where they're doing the run. Because that shit is what woke us up.
Yeah, by that point, I was like, bruh, it's over? It's finally over?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we took our
that last part was worth it though.
Yeah, we took our photos, we took our selfies, and then we maneuvered our way, and then we was out. And then at that point, I didn't realize Camden Market was about to close very soon, so we hopped on that train and made our travels and shit like that. And at that point, I was trying to figure out what we could do in a short amount of time before everything was closed. So I saw Funky Chips. I'm sad that we never got the Yorkshire burrito that I seen. That was like a few minutes away, but there was no way we making it. But we got the Funky Chips where they packed on all that shit for the low. Like all that shit, I guarantee you would have been like $20 or something like that out in America, especially even a small version. But we got that shit for like under 10. That shit was maneuvered out well. Funky Chips was nice. Camden Market was nice. They had the little bubbles that we could sit in. Yeah. But as we was leaving Camden Market, again, the rain started going ham.
Yep, again.
The rain started wilding while we was trying to figure out the maneuvers, because then this is when we was making our maneuvers in our round to find you was trying to get the wand for spirit.
Yeah.
So all right, so this is where we was making our maneuvers. We was trying to see what I suggested was the Harry Potter 9 and 3 sports store and stuff like that. It was towards the end of the night. I didn't know how packed it was gonna be or what the lines were, but that was the closer one. So we ended up going over there, and we was trying to find the place for like a hot minute. Directions was giving us the fucking runaround for whatever the hell it was until we finally found the place, and then we saw the long ass line for the wait.
Listen, once we saw that Anime NYC line, I was like, nope.
Yeah, so
we're not doing that.
So we took our ass back to Piccadilly's Circus to find the first spot that.
Yeah, so we found the first spot. I got the one, and I think something else, and then we just got about it.
Yeah, we got because at that point we was making all those kind of maneuvers. We had to add more stuff on the Oyster Card.
Yep.
Yeah. So we trying to get back, or what was it when we was trying to get back, or when we was trying to get to Piccadilly Circus? That was the situation where we was trying to figure out what train we was trying to get on.
So,
and we saw some Metro North ass train.
Yeah, and we left it. We was like, this don't look like it. So we went back outside, because once we got back out, like, okay, we didn't tap in here. So how the hell get up out of here? Yep. So eventually we found the people that work in there. We like, yo, listen, we got to kind of get to the tube, and this ain't it. Nope. So it's like, all right, so let us out. We go find the tube, and then we make our way to Pick Circus.
Yeah, so that's where we made our maneuvers and got the stuff that we needed to. And then this was Thursday, right?
Yeah, it's Thursday.
Oh, okay. So the Nando's thing was the following day. So I guess when we came back, did we have McDonald's or something again?
No, we had KFC.
No, I think that was in the morning.
Oh, that Friday. No,
I'm trying to remember. Did we eat? What did we eat that night?
Probably. I know we did make a return trip to Nando.
Yeah, it was the following day, because that was the final dinner. That was for Friday.
Yeah, that's for Friday.
Because we left out Saturday morning. So
that's right. We went to get the ones on Thursday. I don't know what we had that night.
Yeah, it must have been McDonald's, because by the time we got back, it was ideally it was kind of late. So we must have got more McDonald's to just call it another night. McDonald's, like I said, McDonald's will always come in clutch for that final day. Sure. So that we finished that out, and then the only things that we kind of had left on the docket was either kind of like travel around or see what else was left. So we wanted to mess with some guards, but so we went to the palace. Yep. And when we went over to the palace, we saw all the stuff that Nathan had told us in the tour, where they said like it was gold and stuff like that. Everything was closed off because it was fucking brick again that day. Yeah. And they closed off. The guards that usually wear red was in like their purplish shit, and the palace was locked off because I don't know if they had shit like that, but we couldn't take a picture like messing with the guards, but we took a picture with the guards still in the background or something. So it was basically that, and then after that we was kind of taking pictures by like phone booths and locations and areas and stuff like that, and we was kind of shopping. But this is where we had our next incident with Crumpets, co-host.
Yeah, Crumpets that want to be clue so early.
Yeah, there were still people in there. They were still cleaning the seats. There was still somebody in the back maneuvering and shit like that. The second we walked in there, that nigga was like, nope, no. And then we pop a corner, we take all our photos and come back only to see that the place finally actually did.
Yep, they got nerve to put up the sign after that. I'm like, well, you could have helped us out. Why did?
That was some yippee bullshit that was happening. That was some whatever the fuck was going. So after that, we did a little shopping. I got some pants from Zara's, and then we went to pick up stuff from the gift shop store and stuff like that. You got majority of our maneuvers. You got your postcards and stuff like that. We saw the block that had that place called Petit France.
Yeah, hold that thought, Cole.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, like you were saying, we had got the postcard.
Yeah.
And I got the last little bit of gifts and trinkets and things like that.
Yeah. So after that, we went over to Nando's to pretty much have the last dinner and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we chilled over there, and that kind of completes that Thursday. It was really that Friday. That was kind of really finishing up stuff we had kind of in mind and stuff like that. And the noodle spot, the noodle spot was walk to.
Ah, okay.
That was the name of it. And also, it does late nights over here. It's open till 2 a.m. in Times Square. Shit, I'm gonna keep that shit in mind.
That's what's up.
I could have gotten another one while we was out. Shit, I
Hey.
didn't even realize.
Stuff we realized after the fact, right?
Yeah, that's. I would be making a couple trips. Yo, I got a full meal out there for like with the noodles and stuff, and I got like I put chicken and pineapple in my stuff with the Hong Kong sauce.
Nice.
That shit was only like $14.
Nice. Yeah, we did good price wise.
Yeah, but okay, so finishing out that definitely had the Nando's was kicking and stuff like that. So that was the final dinner for the most part, and then we was chilling back, and then the morning of that Friday, that's when we had the KFC. That's when I remember. That's right before we made the trip over, and that's when that was the specific day where we walked to KFC and it was sunny. It was we left KFC and it was fucking brick.
You're absolutely right.
It started snowing when we was walking over there,
and we like, how, bruh? How?
They were eating us. So that was wild. We went back and we started. So later on that night, after Nando's, we went back to start packing and making sure we was maneuvering and heading out that stuff. We had our final conversations with Jackie and Roy, and we started giving everybody they preps, and we let them know about our whole trip so far, and they was talking to us about like future maneuvers and what we want to do and stuff like that. Everybody was cool. We just met Roy that day and stuff like that. He loved the hell out of us. Wanted to take us to the pub and stuff, so they was cool.
Right, bro.
We were saying our bits of goodbyes and stuff like that, and then Friday came around, and before we started heading out early, we got some breakfast, and then we said deuces to everybody.
Yeah, so that Saturday rolled up, and we said bye to Jackie, we said bye to Terry, we said bye to Roy and Rita.
Yeah,
and then we hopped in our ride to the airport.
Yep. We got everything together. We had gotten everything together. We got on the Uber and stuff like that, and I fucked up when we was in the Uber because I put my gloves in the back, and I put our book bags in the back, and then I put my gloves on top of my book bag, and then we was leaving out when we was trying to maneuver because I just woke you up so we could start maneuvering. I didn't realize until we left the Uber that I left my gloves in the Uber.
Oh no!
Oh no! I realized while we was going up the shit that I left the gloves. So while we was waiting there to board on the flight going back home, I already had put in an order on Amazon. Like I knew because I recently just got those gloves for the winter, and I was like, I know it's gonna be brick by the time I go home. So I just put in an order for the same gloves to do a 1 day delivery.
Oh,
so they was back by like the next day, but it was just like the instant realization because when we got out, it was cold again. So when we was pulling up the shit, I was like, I was looking at my bag, I was like, oh fuck. And then the worst part about it is, it was the second time that shit happened because remember the situation that happened to the Oyster card on the very last trip?
Yeah, did you ever find the Oyster card?
No. I think that shit fell out of my pocket when I was trying to switch pants or something. It had to have happened. Well, no, that makes no sense because I got on the train.
You took
still don't understand. I still don't understand.
You tapped in, so how did
it must have? Remember when we sat down?
I think that's what happened when you sat down. It must have fell out when I sat
down. Yeah.
Somebody got some free ride.
Yeah, hopefully somebody found it and maneuvered it or something like that, and they can put on whatever they want. But that shit only irritated me because I like to collect those cards. Yeah. But nonetheless, it's so funny that it was the final trip. It was just the last checkout point that I lost that shit, and I was like, well.
It happens.
Oh God! Well, okay. Fuck. I mean, if it was ever to disappear now, this would be the best time for it to disappear.
Like no, my souvenir card.
Yeah, but whatever. So that was gone. So that was kind of my main calling that says this trip is over pretty much. But between that going and then me losing my gloves, I was like, is shit just gonna keep disappearing from my ass? Like, what the fuck?
Hey, at least by time, once we got on the flight, we were back to, we had our same seat.
Yeah, it was good. The lady beside me was very strange.
Right,
that lady acted very down though.
And I just kept looking and looked familiar. She reminded me of one of my old coworkers. It wasn't her, but she reminded me of her.
I don't know. She was very strange throughout the whole flight and stuff like that. Like everything just kind of maneuvered around her and shit like that. But nonetheless, the flight was fine. It was definitely because we had slept and wakened up and we took this flight early. It felt longer. And they said it was kind of a longer distance this time around because I think it was like 8 hours. It was like 7 hours going and kind of 8 hours coming back. So I ran through a shit ton of movies, and to the point where I had movies in the background and my mind was drifting off. The movies were just playing, and then I was just looking forward, and then shit was just passed by. And then also on top of it, the section that I was sitting at, we was trying to maneuver to see if I could fix dinner, but it was a good thing the guy was around with the notepad, so he was taking notes, figure out shit, because that shit threw me off for the second time. Like the first time setting all the dinner beforehand was nice, but this time not getting that opportunity, that shit had me bugged.
Yeah, for real, that was crazy. But yeah, we managed to get through it. The dude next to me was like, we were expecting the third person in the row. Glad they didn't show up because he moved over, so we had some nice space.
Yeah, I got that twice. That first was in between me and the Asian lady that had her snacks with her, and then the second one was with the other lady, but there was like nobody in our middle seat. That was
yeah. Like I said, the ride back, it was long because, like I said,
them blankets was clutch.
Yes, they were because it was cold.
Shout outs to blankets and neck pillows because boy, that shit made the trip worthwhile.
Y'all best to believe I took mine with me again.
Yes, he did.
The extra.
Blanket man, get at him.
That definitely is. They finally you again. Like,
yeah, that shit was good. Oh, also we didn't really talk about going through immigration passport shit like that, because going there was weird when they was asking all kinds of questions and shit like that to know where your location was and needed specific detail and shit like that. I was like, guys, I'm here for vacation. I'm staying at the Heather Bank. They was on their extra due diligence and shit like that. But coming home, it was some regular shit that blew by. So that was good. It was just the carousel. When we got our bags in London, it was a quick thing. The carousel, when we was going home, that shit took a minute because we was there with the Jamaican flight.
Yeah, and we were just waiting. Luckily, we tagged our bags with brightly colored things so we could quickly identify them.
Shout out to the tags that's still on my bag, and it'll still stand on that shit. The tags is colorful as fuck. That shit works.
Yep, like up there you go.
Yep. That works. And then by the time we got back, your sister found us, and shout out to your family for being the clutch and taking me all the way back home when I was trying to. The Uber app was acting up. Shit wasn't showing me no prices, which was fucking weird.
Yeah, and the prices you were showing me on mine, I was like, nope. I saw just the price. She's like, nope, we not doing that.
Yeah, so
she's like, I hop it because we all going. Be like, listen, no, what we not gonna do is this.
Yeah, so shout outs to sister and the maneuvering and y'all taking me home and shit like that. I appreciate that very much. Homie that was the driver. Yo,
Deshaun,
Deshaun's funny. Deshaun's fucking funny. I like Deshaun. He's funny. Yeah. I like that. That was great. But that and the drop off point, and then just basically us trying to fucking recover is that closes the book on the trip in general. So it's another good trip. Really hoisted by us and our creativity of maneuvering shit. Because we took it from face value as the weather. Like if we let the weather stop us, we wouldn't have been able to jack it.
Oh yeah, no, we was gonna make it work.
We was gonna make it work. We was here for that week, and we was definitely fucking using the week, yo.
Without question.
That's how we do. That's why we maneuver. That's why we enjoy our trip.
Oh,
When it's me and co-hosts out here, we do it for the best of it.
Yeah, it's always we're gonna figure it out.
Yep. And that's how our style is, and that's how we. So that closes the book on the London trip and stuff like that. So for our next review episode, we said it prior that we was trying to do Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills. So we did this special episode because we just got back trip and we want to do for a round. And that's kind of like been recent in our heads and stuff like that. But next episode we'll do the Down with BNP special on the Beverly Hill Fighter gang and stuff. That's gonna be on our Sentai special joke stuff like that. Nice. Also, best believe when the Netflix special drops on that stuff, we'll be reviewing that.
Oh,
there's no reason we would miss out on that for sure. We're definitely reviewing that now. So when that drops, we'll figure. So once again, we got an email set up as always at blerdbynature@gmail.com. Facebook and Instagram at Blerd By Nature. Twitter spelled Blerd By Nature. Nature spelled N-A-T-R-E. Co-host, hit us with the YouTube.
You can find us on YouTube by searching for Blerd By Nature Podcast.
Yep. We'll be maneuvering and getting back on our flow. So I expect episodes dropping soon where we can maneuver and work. Any updates on the Amazon Music and stuff like that? Trying to get into that?
Oh no, I haven't even had a chance to even look into it.
All right, so we'll figure out how to get our stuff in over at Amazon Music as well. So we can have the podcast as much places as we can have it out as possible. Yep. But any last notes before I hit the outro?
Nah, take us home.
All right, thanks for joining us today from Black Thought to Nerd Pod. This is Nicholas, Mr. Go Flow.
And this is the man with the plan, Maurice.
And this was another edition of the Blerd By Nature Podcast.
Thank everyone for listening, and until next time,
peace.